Yes. Here we are, Bass Galaxy. When you hear the Fishin' Gypsy theme song, you know it's Wednesday night. And this is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show, Stray Cast, Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm your host, Pat Renwick, and welcome back. Welcome. Yes.
Welcome.
They sound very, you're a very sophisticated crowd tonight. Do you hear the sophistication?
It's a golf crowd.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of, let me whip it up a little louder. Come on. That's what I'm talking about, Bass Galaxy.
Whip it up.
Yeah.
Whip it out.
Well,
What?
I know that this is the Bass Galaxy, but we got something a little bit different tonight. There was a Rolling Stones album, I think it was called Something a Little Bit Different.
Yeah.
Under My Thumb was the first.
And then Bob Dylan, times are changing.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
And then he had a bunch of signs in the video.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
yeah. And then Tesla made that song.
Exactly.
And
Love is all around you.
That's right.
Speaking of love is all around you, we're showing a little bit of different type of love today, and I may tell you that this might be a selfish show. It's not a bass fishing show tonight, but we have one of my heroes on, all-round fishing badass Larry Dahlberg, the legend. Uncle Larry.
Yes.
Hunt for Big Fish host. Lure designer.
King of the jungle.
The king of the jungle. Yes. That is for sure. For sure. And speaking of jungle, Uncle Larry coming on momentarily. Don't you go nowhere, Bass Galaxy. It's going to be good. We're going to talk exotic adventures, lure making, rods. I don't know, anything that
Mr.
happens.
Wiggly.
100%. You know, the plopper to whopper, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of whopper ploppers in the jungle, you know who is very fond of whopper ploppers in the jungle. It's the one and only Ryan Pop Cornelius Whitaker.
Yo.
And Ryan, why am I practicing to say the word jungle?
Because the Tin Cup drinking word for the drinking game of tonight is jungle.
It's jungle. It's jungle. Whoa.
Every time you hear jungle.
Fell in the
Or jungle
Yes.
beast or any
And we
combination of jungle.
And we remind you to please drink responsibly so you don't fall in the drink
Yes.
like Ryan just did there. Are you coming back, Ryan?
I'm coming back.
You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
crocodile.
If
Okay.
you crocodile, if you hear the word jungle tonight, that is the Tin Cup word of the week. So you hear jungle and you take a drink and drink responsibly. You can drink anything. You can drink ice cold Coca-Cola if you'd like. You could drink a Mountain Dew or a Gatorade.
You could drink Black Death water.
Yeah.
Black Death?
You can
know
drink
if that's what it's called.
black velvet in that little boy's smile. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
So
can drink one bourbon, one
Tin
scotch,
Cup
one beer.
word of the week is
Jungle.
jungle, and I'm crossing that off. Thanks. I skipped ahead.
Oh, are you keeping track?
I have a pen now and a thing for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get this done officially.
Is that a quill?
Yes,
Is
it's
it a quill pen?
No, it's actually blood. Yes, it's it's either dragon blood or tiger.
Writing with the blood of Wolverines?
It's tiger and dragon blood mixed.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good.
No, you know what I wish I had here in the studio?
What's
suction cup arrows.
Ooh.
Yeah, suction cup arrow. Remember those?
Dollar store.
They don't have them anymore because you'll
No.
poke your eye out.
Oh, when the cup falls off.
Yeah, I tried to get them for you could sharpen the cup. You know, you never played that and try and hurt things with it.
I never sharpened the cup, no.
It's sharpen the arrow cup.
I might have a
Plastic
Nerf bow and arrow sitting
arrow.
around somewhere.
You know who has? Not the Nerf one. I'm
Well, you
talking
put a
about
cup
the
on it.
suction cup. You had to
Right.
wet them first.
Yeah, right.
That was pre-COVID.
Yeah, that's not a COVID-friendly toy.
It's not a COVID-friendly suction cup arrow game. I'm sorry. Speaking of COVID-friendly suction cup arrow games, you know who's awesome? You know who's red on the head like an engineer producer should be? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Andrew Ellenberger. And he's a ginger ninja. Yes, it's a punk rock guy. Andy, are you doing karate flips? Why can't we see you? I only see Ryan in the monitor.
It's all right.
Gosh, the world wants to see you.
No.
The world is a vampire set to drain, and you're hiding behind everything.
Got a
over
face
there.
for radio, bud.
I don't care. Why you didn't even put yourself on the dang? I gave you a fanfare intro.
I know.
Well,
Let us see your face,
let's
Clayton
redo. So let's do an appropriate intro for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's Andy.
Yay.
It's Andy. Can you show everyone you, please?
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Andrew Ellenberger. There's my guy. There's my guy with an awesome red beard. And they call you the Ginger Ninja because you have red hair. You actually don't know ninja skills, but maybe you do. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's for you to find out.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Andy, do you keep your rod covered?
I do. You have to protect your investment.
Yes, a very
Or
good.
accidents can happen.
Yes, a very good way to put it. And one of the slicksest ways to keep your rod covered. Slickstest. It's a new word I just made up.
I like it.
See that? Because it's an X. Outcast Tackle has the Slicks rod covers.
Correct.
Slicks rod covers, SLIX. And they're available where, Andy? You know where they're at.
OmniaFishing.com.
Of course they're at OmniaFishing.com. And guess what? From now until Sunday night, it's code SLIX20. SLIX20. SLIX20.
There you go.
Put that in, 20% off, Slicks rod covers.
Nice.
Keep your rod covered, keep them safe, and everything's good. I know everyone out there just bought some new sticks for the year.
Yeah.
I know you did, Rye.
I got sticks.
You did. You got some
Yeah.
sticks. Andy, I know you got some of those alphas, and Rye, you were on some of those Veritas.
The really white ones.
And Veritas means truth in
Yes, 3M.
in Calumet City. That's the next town over.
That's right.
Yes. And by the way, it's Latin. But yeah, keep your rods covered with the Rod Slicks. Slicks20, OmniaFishing.com. Boom. Right there. Okay. Hey, you've heard before, no shoes, no shirt, no dice. Mm-hmm. Right? You heard that one, right? Mm-hmm. Well, no boat show, no dice. No. Crestliner has virtual boat shows. Crestliner.com. Check it out. Anything that you want to know about getting a new aluminum sled, boom, CrestlinerFishing.com.
Yeah.
Boom, Crestliner. I'm not
Minus-
Crestliner.com. I don't know why I said fishing.
Minus
But,
the sweaty salesman. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to put you on a new Crestliner. Drive around the block and kick the tires a few times.
Ever ridden in one of these, kid?
See if you like it. This one's perfect for you.
That boat's perfect for you.
That boat is perfect for you.
Boat's fine for you.
Hey, best of luck to the Bassmasters out there on the 10 River over there.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. I know. I hear they've been struggling, but they're sandbaggers. You know they're bagging, right, Ginge?
They're all bagging.
They're sandbagging over there.
Only fish I caught all week.
I only caught one. Whatever. But anyway, good luck to all those guys. We got a couple horses in the race, don't we, guys?
A lot of horses.
Over there. Now, have you been watching the MILFs? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I like watching KVD. Like I like his form. You know what I mean?
Got good form.
I mean that in a heterosexual way.
Good rhythm, good speed.
Yeah, and Thrift, of course. Man,
Yeah.
what an amazing angler! Like it doesn't matter the format. Thrift is amazing. So I don't know. I'm going Thrift. My pick is Thrift. I will not pick for the other derb. It's too hard to tell. But this, I'm going Thrift.
It's a safe pick.
Okay, good. You agreeing with me?
You're not going to win any money on that pick.
Ryan, what's the code for Slicks rod covers?
I forgot.
Gosh dang it, did you already?
I did.
He's ridiculous, Andy. What is wrong with this kid? Last
my
week you
part.
took the mirror
Hey,
off
the
my
co-
neighbor's car.
Yeah,
Unreal.
But I
Slicks
put it back
20.
on today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Slicks 20.
20. Slicks 20. There you
Right.
go. 20% off.
You are a something short of a something, I'll tell you. All right, I'm down to 2 minutes. All right, I got
to ask the guy with the Omnia hat on. That's your mistake.
No, I only said it 14 times. I promised that the majority of the audience had that, and you were over in la la goo goo land.
I was thinking about crankbaits.
Of course you were. Hey, everyone knows that Straycast is the place to win free stuff on Wednesday nights. That is the what? Okay, did you hear that? Odd sound.
What happened?
Tonight, I'm sorry, the like and share contest. I had a thing in whatever. It was like
nothing.
Anyway, to play Straightcast, the place on Wednesday nights to win free stuff. Everyone knows that, and all you got to do is like and share this live Facebook feed. The live Facebook feed. I got Lithuanian for them.
The Scottish version.
As a Scottish guy. So like and share the live Facebook feed for a chance to win a $50 Power Pole Fun Pouch tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Power Pole Fun Pouch. Like and share the live Facebook feed, chance to win. It's that easy. That's all you got to do. And at the end of the show, Jay Kaz, he's going to pick a winner here live on the deal. So with that being said, what do you say we put those power poles down? Don't go anywhere. We're coming back. Larry Dahlberg. Uncle Larry. See you in a minute.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
Nobody wants to run out of power when they're on the water. There is a better way. Introducing the Charge Marine Power Management Station from PowerPole that does the work of 3 devices: a traditional battery charger, a charge on the run, and an emergency start system. PowerPole Charge.
The TH Marine Hydrowave H2 KVD Edition is a surefire way to ignite a feeding frenzy. The Hydrowave utilizes a sound-emitting technology that imitates bait fish and other feeding fish below the surface that preys on the competitive nature of bass and other game fish to get you more bites. The Hydrowave is another way that TH Marine has you covered from transom to trolling motor.
All right. Welcome back. This is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show, but we're taking you beyond the parameters tonight, and we're pretty excited to bring back to you for the second time ever on this show, ladies and gentlemen. I see him there now in the shop. It's the one and only, the legend, Larry Dahlberg. Yeah.
You guys should talk a little bit louder.
What's up? What's going on?
What's up? We're all up right now.
Is that your buddy Josh with you?
That's my buddy Josh. Yeah.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
going
his
on,
His
Josh?
real name is Chris, though.
Oh.
Chris Willen. He's my main fishing buddy. He needs a haircut just like you do.
Yeah, that's overrated. Don't you listen to him.
I agree.
Yeah. Man, I seen you with some giant muskies, dude.
What?
Some
Not
big
you. Not you. I'm not Larry. We're gonna do a show with your buddy right now.
Okay, that's why I brought it.
Yeah.
I'm really just tired of you
Yeah.
guys already.
Yeah. You had enough already, right, Larry? I mean,
I
it's
have.
probably good fixings upstairs, you know. I mean, keeping you from
We
something.
got to thank our friend Josh, actually. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, man.
See, he's the computer guy that set this up so we didn't have to do it in my office.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So that really is Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Chris Willen, the one and only King Willen.
Yeah,
Good
I
Willen.
see now. Okay, I got you now. In the live in the monitor. Nice.
Here I am.
And giant muskies. I mean,
Yeah, it's been a good year this year, and then our wintertime expeditions went really well with a good buddy of ours, Blaine. So we've been having some fun.
yeah, chopping it up, and a lot of us here in the North Country have been wishing we were doing some fishing for lack of a better term.
I hear you.
Hey, Larry, dude, seriously, happy to have you back on the show. And you know, at the beginning of the show, we always get the ass kissing over with right away, and just want to say thanks for all the happiness that you bring us as fishermen through these years. We thank you for that. We thank you for the many.
I'm flattered to say that, and I thank you for saying so. You guys must be pretty easily entertained.
Cut it out. I mean, if you take a census or consensus amongst anglers, your show is one of the favorites. Come on, guys, argue with me. I mean,
Sure.
we spent many hours in front of the television set watching you and your adventures, dude. That's why when I have you guys on the show, when I say you guys, you TV show anglers, it's like we know you. Because we've spent so much time, or we think we know you. I mean, and then you come
I was that way with Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah, me too. I mean, absolutely. And Giggle Snort Hotel. Remember the Blob? I felt I knew all those guys too.
That's so funny.
Mr. Rogers, all that good stuff, man. But seriously, happy to have you here again, Larry, and what you've done and what you do continues to leave a huge impact on all of us.
So what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, man. You buckled up or what? You buckled up, buddy? Hey,
I missed that.
yeah, I said, are you buckled up?
Am I? Well, actually, no. I'm sitting on this stool, but I've got relatively good balance. And if I fall on something, it's probably an adhesive. So
What? You're grounded.
Sounds safe. Sounds safe.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever been hypnotized?
Not yet.
Have you ever?
Nope.
Okay. Well, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, and I've only done this with a few guests on the show. I think we did it to Ike and Ellie once.
Maybe a Palinick?
Yeah, we hypnotized Palinick too, and find out things. But we're gonna hypnotize you now.
Okay.
And what I need you to do is just kind of open your mind. Okay, open your mind and watch the. Which one's his camera, Andy? The left. Okay, watch the.
We can't see what they're seeing.
Can you see me?
No, we can only see our reflection. So we need to be able to see what you guys are.
Yeah. How come you can't see us? Let's fix that right now.
Oh, here.
How do we fix that?
I think. Well, maybe you can fix it, or
That's the
maybe
beauty of a live show.
I
We
sure
could
as heck
just
can't fix
we could
it.
just reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just reset. You tell me when you can see me, Larry.
I can't see you. I can hear you fairly.
I'm doing a
well.
robot right now.
You're doing what?
I'm doing the robot.
We can only.
It's just the way the TV screen is set up, and I don't want to touch anything.
Oh yeah,
otherwise-
don't do that. Okay. Well, let's go back to it.
Oh, there you are. I see some little human there. What's he doing?
See a little human now.
Yeah,
You think I'm
about
human.
That big. You got. Looks like you're dressed in gray, and you have a head.
I have a head.
Yeah.
There's your mistake.
He put his shirt back on, too.
It is not really a head.
Okay, so you're gonna hypnotize.
Yes,
got
let's
one
go back.
twirly
Okay,
thing, so
ready.
you're doing
Now you
with
can
the
see me.
watch.
Now you must see this shiny thing.
I got it. I
Yes.
see that. Go
Watch.
back and forth.
Watch the shiny object, Larry. Watch the shiny object. Go to a happy place, Larry. Go to your happy place. Tell me when you're there.
I'm there.
I like that. It's easy. All right. Now, think of the origin of you. The origin of you. The spawn of you. Do you have that now in your happy place?
I think I do.
Okay. Now, when you hear Ray Scott shoot the shotgun for the first ever Bassmaster Classic, when the sound of the shotgun goes, you wake. Hypnotized. Boom. Awake with an open mind, Mr. Dahlberg.
Did somebody just get a duck?
Yeah.
The guy was drinking, the duck flew over.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Larry Dahlberg. Welcome to Stray Cast, Larry. Welcome to Stray Cast. Glad to have you back. Second time ever. I've had Larry on the show, and
Larry Dahlberg does not know that he has just been hypnotized by the host of Stray Cats.
Larry, so I got a couple things I want to talk to you about, and we kind of want to go through your career here with you with a completely open mind, Larry. And let's go all the way back. Let's go to date night. Like it's date night with your parents, and Larry's not even a
Did
thing.
you say date night?
Yeah, date night with your parents.
Okay.
And then the magic happens, and then Larry is spawned 9 months later. And
Oh,
Yeah.
that's my earliest memory. I remember going to the dance with my father and coming home with my mother.
It was like a ride.
Okay, I'm with you now. I didn't know what at first.
The best. Hey, now I got to ask you. Now, everybody always says, "Hey, Larry, do you remember the first fish that you caught?" But I need to know the first fishing memory. The first fishing memory that is vivid to you in your brain.
What is my first fishing memory?
Yeah, your first fishing memory. Not necessarily the catch, but the fishing memory.
Oh, I remember very clearly.
Tell me.
It was about this time of the year, probably a little bit earlier. Is an ice fishing shack. And I'd lowered this little waxy thing with an orange bobber that my dad had carved out in the basement and painted. It was made out of balsa. It had a rubber binder on it. And I was lowering it down, and it went down, and I pulled it up, and I got the line all over on the stove, and it burned up the line. But I caught this crappie, and I can still remember it real clearly. I remember even what it smelled like.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my earliest memory. And I'm not much of a crappie guy.
That burning smell of crappie. That's pretty cool.
I mean, the line is what I smelled burning.
I get you.
Yeah, my dad was hollering at me. I didn't know what he was hollering about even. He had a hand over hand, back then.
Sure.
I was like 4 years old, so what did I know?
Wow. That's absolutely nuts. And that's your first fishing memory. That's the one that's burned in your brain.
Well, it was the first fish I ever caught. So it would be my first fishing memory, don't you think?
Yeah.
The first significant memory. I have other memories that are more significant than that happened, when I was like 6. But,
No, I get you. Well, I mean, a lot of times I know it's like maybe putting the cart before the horse. But sometimes people have fishing memories before the actual fish. A lot of times it's not the first fish. It's just the act of maybe getting to go with someone.
Well, there's something that happens where you get a connection.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Good way to get.
I think it's an existential thing, but it's pretty deep for you guys, probably.
No, believe me, I'm a lot.
My first, really, honestly, I lived about 2 blocks from a little reservoir in the Wood River, and there was a dam on it. It was just a tiny little reservoir, and nobody fished there really. And my dad was a muskie fisherman, and he didn't want to take me along because little kids are a liability. I was 6. It was a year before I entered first grade, and he gave me a Fluger skill cast with a old steel rod, and I had a couple of like spoons that were cheap imitations of Daredevils, 54-pound test line, and I had to wear a life jacket, and I was allowed to go down to this thing, and I cast into the water off the shoreline. And I've always been an early riser. Like my mom and dad would tell me they'd wake up at 4:35 in the morning. I'd be standing by their bed, waiting for people
ready to go.
I'm still that way. And anyhow, they gave me this outfit and I could go down to this little pond, which I did every morning. And I can remember one more, I hadn't been there many times, but I had a tackle box and I had a net and I had a bicycle and I had my fishing rod. And I was fishing and not catching anything. I saw a big swirl and I had to pee really bad. And I made a few more casts and then I peed and then I made this cast and I thought I was hung up and I just would point at it and walk backwards because it was 54-pound line, straighten the hooks out.
Yeah.
And it was a little reservoir, so there's a lot of wood in it. And I pulled up this 32-inch northern pike.
It just happened to be a pike on there.
Yeah. And I got it untangled and stuff. And then I tried to bring it home in my, but I couldn't ride my bike and carry this pike and the net and all this other crap. And this old guy named Fred Miller who lived next door saw me and it was, like 7:30 in the morning. And it was only a block, but he gave me a ride home in his pickup truck. And then he wanted to go back down there with me. We went down there and he had a yellow river run. And we went further up the river a little bit and caught a few more. But I remember that day, it was like, oh, best day
so
of my
vivid.
life.
I love how it's so vivid with you, man.
Yeah, you want more details? I could tell you where he cast.
The angle and everything.
Yes. Yeah, he had an old giant. He used a push button reel, which I did not respect. It was a Johnson Century. Remember those?
I like how you said that because you're on the steel level lines, man.
My dad wouldn't let me own a spinning reel until I bought one myself, especially a spin cast. That was really pap.
He was bougie when bougie wasn't bouge.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
Musky anglers haven't changed over the years.
Oh yeah, you're a very you said the word eclectic, and that's that's a bunch. You guys, you think us bass guys are horrible?
Yeah,
yeah, they get passionate.
We are.
All fishermen are kind of a problem.
Yeah,
except me and you, and I'm not sure about you guys or Chris.
Hey, so if you could put a parallel between an event in your life that was as impactful as that first fishing experience that you had.
That's not a fair question. I can't answer that question.
Okay. I got you. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I've been married for 50 some years.
Okay. Well,
so I'm not going to go into that territory.
But you didn't let me. You stopped me before I said okay, and that's okay. We'll leave it right
that again. You can rephrase it.
Don't get him in trouble.
No, I was gonna end that. I'm not a dummy. I was gonna end it with besides your marriage because I didn't want you to get in trouble.
Oh,
So
okay.
another
because I didn't want to get off topic.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Heaven forbid on this show, Larry, that you get off topic. Whether it be like, I don't want to give you examples because I don't want to taint the answer. But besides marriage, another event in your life that was as positively impactful as that fishing experience. If you don't want to answer, we'll skip it. I don't care. I got plenty for you.
Well, the only thing I can think of is when I was fishing here with Blaine Chocolate here, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, and we got into a head-on collision with this lady coming over a hill at about 60 miles an hour. Whoa. And that was easily as impactful.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, that'll woke you.
It slowed us down.
Yeah.
Dead stop.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank
you. But other than that, no, I can't think. Because
maybe playing your guitar.
Well, you have a moment, that's what you're talking about. A moment, a catharsis thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there are a few where you go like this and you pucker and you're all excited and your heart is beating and everything. And I guess the first time I saw a big giant buck jump up in front of me during deer season, maybe, you get that pucker thing where, your head, your neck gets shorter and your butt closes up and you pucker. And people do it when muskies follow. Sometimes if you pucker, they don't bite. When a bird jumps up, if you pucker instead of pulling the trigger, you don't get him. And so what you guys have really asked me is a early heavy pucker factor.
We'll leave it right there.
Okay.
The even flow. Let the pucker go.
Early heavy pucker.
It's really hard not to, but once you've learned to relax your fingertips, you can move on to the rest of your extremities.
There you go. It's all in the
That's
breathing.
how-
It's all in the breathing, like Sting taught us. All right. Hey, I want to ask you. Let me ask you about the first lure.
First what?
The first lure.
First lure. Huh?
That you ever fell in love with, that you really had an intimate love affair with, and I say that, I mean, we've all had that experience as anglers. The first one, the first confidence lure, the one that you really maybe helped define you as an angler.
I think probably be a live frog.
A live frog.
I fell in love with live frogs during one period of my life.
Wow.
But as a lure, I was never in love with any. When I first discovered the eddy bait, and I had a few that I could get to zigzag, 5 feet. I did fall in love with that bait, but I only fell in love with it because I caught every muskie that followed my dad's mud puppy with it. And it was, but I fell in love with that. But I don't. Well, that's a hard question because I have a kind of a I love my baits.
I love Wiggly.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Wiggly. Yeah, I love Mr. Wiggly.
But I mean, that's it. But he's later though. I mean,
yeah, he's later. Okay, I'll tell you one. There's one called the Creek Chub Darter. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The Creek Chub Darter. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it was the first of the non-mechanical twitch it around, make it do weird stuff things that I ever discovered or fished with, and I fell in love with that for a while because it was like whoa. And then when I first discovered how to make a Zara spook work, whoa, that was like magic.
I get it. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, early on though, see, you have to realize how old I am and what was going on when I started fishing really young and I was really into it in a kind of a almost perverse way in that I didn't have a lot of superstition. So I broke things down a little bit differently than my people that I fished with, even my dad. And when jigs first kind of got introduced to the world, the idea of being able to fish with a bait that you're fishing vertically rather than cranking it and being able to feel it on its way down and make bottom contact and that sort of thing. When I first discovered the jig,
okay.
And that played with heads, different head shapes.
Sure.
And so on. And yeah, that was a period when it was like really magic because there was the other lures that people were using were so clumsy and clunky. And then the Rapala came along and it was, that was a super lightweight, a lot different than if you go back to the lures.
More finessey plug.
In the mid 50s, look at the hook hangers, look at the way everything was put together. They're really, really clunky, non-responsive. We've come a long way.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with a few of them, and the ones I'm in love with now, they evolve. You see what works. And for me, I let the fish decide. I don't like
whatever catches them. But we all start somewhere, and you
what does
said
it
that
look
darter.
Like, what does it do? For me, it's what does it do? I got to see it in the water before I can fall in love with it.
Yeah, you're definitely a tinkerer, and we'll get to a little bit of that, a little more of that later.
That's what Chris and I have been doing all day. We've been pouring lead and making stuff, and went over in a pool, and we got some really, really crazy umbrella type variations that we're putting together for muskies.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Chris wants to start a little kind of a boutique bait company thing and category of these things. And we just sent you a little video clip.
Yeah, is that you sent that to Andy? I saw. Yeah, that's awesome.
Did I send it to what was it called? The Flying Irishman or the
The Ginger Ninja.
No, we're going with Flying Irishman.
Flying Irishman is way better right now.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's great.
That
And
was
he is
red hair.
Irish too. You could tell by the red hair.
Yeah. But
Somewhere-
anyway, it's a one that we put together. It's a funny little deal. And Chris said, "Can you hear that?" I said, "Hear what?" Yeah, no, there was a lot of noise, and you can actually hear this umbrella rig in the water.
It's nuts.
Yeah, and what
Wow.
it's fun to talk. We were talking about what's the deal with umbrella rigs, and here's what I think. If you're interested, I'll tell you, even if you're not.
No, I want to hear about that.
So you got a bunch of pelagic forage shad, big cloud of them. You guys live where you and I live. You don't see a lot of that. Get a little bit south, you got a big cloud. Predators come up, start beating up on them, and they get split up. And there's little football-sized clumps of them that are running around looking for their friends.
Sure.
And they're very, very vulnerable. And of course, the Alabama type rig with a spread of 3, 4, 5, whatever little minnows on it, real close together with hooks, looks like one of those little groups that have gotten busted off of the big herd. Highly vulnerable, they get eaten. Well, there's another trigger where you take the next level predator above the one that's eating the shad. Well, he's looking up and he sees this ball of little shad going by, and then he sees this goofy fish about this long going to eat him that's totally focused in on this little group of shad.
Wow.
And he's totally vulnerable, and he comes up and gets eaten. And so you've got a bunch of little stuff like this, and you put something larger behind it, and it really sends a different message than just a little ball of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of what we're playing with, and trying to get kind of a random non-mechanical, even playing with some sound, and it's really quite fun.
It sounds and have you been able to catch fish doing it yet on it?
We're just in the stages. I am anyway, just helping Chris with some ideas. I think you've thrown quite a bit.
We've caught a bunch of muskies on other Alabama rigs before, but the reason why that we wanted to do this one is the Alabama rigs that are readily available. The components on them and everything aren't really muskie quality. So we were having breakage issues and straightening issues and stuff like that. So we just bumped it up a little bit more to make it so we could throw, swim baits that are this big as opposed to, swim baits that are, just this size,
Yeah.
3 of them. So you could actually throw one this size with what he's talking about with the smaller baits so that they key in on the bigger bait. But the Alabama rigs that were available, you couldn't throw a big giant musky sized swim bait on them.
That's a gym shoe right there.
Well, what it comes down to is wire. I'm going to take. This is what. There's another chunk right. Grab this. Okay, you see, you know what this? This is what you buy for making bucktails and all that kind of stuff, and it's real good stuff. They call it a piano wire or stainless steel wire and so on. I think this is like 0.045 or 0.53 or something.
Okay.
This is actually music wire, and I don't even want it. If I take this thing apart, it's like
It's going everywhere like a
.062,
slinky.
and it is absolutely the most miserable stuff to work with in the world.
My thumbs hurt.
Wow.
But you can. I was trying to straighten it. I've got an anvil that weighs what I can't hardly live. 150 pounds, and I got it on a ratchet strap, and I cranked this anvil up, and then I stood on the anvil and I bounced on it, and then I unhooked it all, and it goes.
And Larry's lure testing with an anvil.
Well,
And then here comes Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
No roadrunners or muskies are safe.
Yes. What do you? I gotta ask you. Like, when you're throwing all those gym shoes and then a bigger predator bait behind the school of shad, what is that weigh and what do you throw that on?
Well, the thing is, we're using can you see this thing hanging here?
Yeah.
These are blades that don't even weigh. I could put all these together, and I probably wouldn't get 2 grams on these blades.
I gotcha. Okay.
This weighs.
Well, it depends on we're pouring lead and then pouring the lead in the mold and then pouring the head around that. So we're ranging it anywhere from 1 ounce to 2 ounces in the head, and then whatever size baits you put on there, it all adds up. But the key is that, we're putting these other smaller things and stuff like that. You don't need a bunch of the big baits. You just need one of the big baits that's looking at the little baits.
Exactly.
So it looks.
It weighs, how about this? It weighs a fourth as much as a bulldog.
Yeah. It's less than a pounder. I can say that.
Okay.
It's like a French bulldog.
Yeah.
It probably weighs 4 or 5 ounces at the most.
So it's very manageable.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to throw it. I'm going to let him throw it. I'm going to throw Mr. Wiggly. That's easy.
Go figure.
Yeah, I'm too old for this stuff, but it's fun to mess with it, and it's always fun to see what the fish react to.
Yeah, I mean, and you've spent
Excuse me.
bless you if that was a sneeze or a snuff. I don't know if that was, but you've made a career out of watching reactions, I could say.
Yep.
I mean, no
Absolutely.
doubt.
That's one of my favorite things that people say in fishing is I got a reaction bite. I think every bite that's ever been bit is a reaction bite. The question is, what did it take to get the fish to react?
And like in the amount of time that there's certain anglers that doesn't even cross their mind, yet there's other anglers like yourselves or in the bass fishing world, Aaron Martin's the same way. The thinking of why that fish bit, even Roland Martin way back in the day, guys, what made that happen? But you take it to the next level, and
Roland is a phenomenal angler. I've spent some time with Roland fishing.
Unreal.
And he, as an early bass guy, he was light years ahead of the other fellows that I fished with that were in that same group.
Do you think that that certain anglers are born with a natural talent, or is it something that evolves? Like, was Michael Jackson born with some sort of a basketball inert basketball skill that was already there? Or
Did you say Michael Jackson?
Michael Jordan? Jeez, criminy. Yeah.
Well, I think either one would be a good example.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I guarantee you, no matter how much training I had, I could neither dance like Michael, either of those two Michaels, or jump like either of those two Michaels.
Yes.
Or sing like either of those two Michaels.
Elite in both of their trades.
Yes, absolutely. But do you think that's something that's there? Is it something that's there in natural anglers?
I don't know. People say that fishermen are born and not made. I've got a couple of brothers and a sister. My brothers had the same opportunity to fish that I did. One of them enjoys ice fishing, the other not at all. So they must be born not made. Hell, I don't know. How about golfers? How about anybody?
Right. I mean, just something that's always puzzled me. It might not necessarily be the born to fish. It might be that you're just born to be outside, to run like a wolf, to be wild.
That's what it is. We are people. We're humans, and we're part of the natural world, but we've forgotten that because we built cities and everything. And no matter what, we're still part of that natural world, and we all have a longing to connect to it, even though we don't know it. And I think that as you get out of the city and you move into the natural world and you start to get in a groove with it, where you're on the water every day when the sun comes up, and when the sun goes down, you're in the same place, and you begin to learn what's happening, and it becomes you get connected to the natural world, and the fish is just a part of it. And you're there, you ring a doorbell, the fish answers the doorbell, it proves you both exist, and then you move on and ring the next one, and the more answers you get, the better you feel, because it proves you're alive.
Yeah.
And, you're on the right trail. That's all. I think it's absolutely natural human thing to do.
What's something we should watch out for as humans that stifles that naturalness? I know that we live in an as you talked about, evolution of lures even and things, but I still think there's things that stifle our natural abilities. What's some advice you could give to keep things natural, Larry? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the opposite of natural is synthetic.
Follow you.
And we have a lot of synthetic enterprises that grew out of natural events. What do I mean by that? Well, fighting and throwing spears and bow and arrows and running and things like that. We had to practice to like catch deer and animals and fish to eat, and then we had to practice to defend that we have from our enemies. And so we had activities that we did to be sharp in those categories. They evolved into the Olympics and things like that, and that evolved into football and basketball and all these other synthetic sports that involve somebody with a clock, somebody a field of some size, a certain quorum of players, a bunch of rules, and so on. It becomes a synthetic enterprise that sort of resembled something that was connected to the natural world God knows how long ago.
Okay.
Hunting and fishing still give us an opportunity to have this connection with the natural world, and we still have this. It isn't really competition. It's I don't know what it is.
It's a competition with ourselves. I think it's a drive within us.
Yeah, it is. It's trying to get in the groove. You're trying to find the groove.
Because as an angler, go say it again, Chris.
And another animal with a brain, you gotta outsmart whatever, whether it's a big deer, a bass, muskie, fill in the blank. You have to do something that's a little bit ahead of what they're doing.
Yep.
And it's a longing. If we don't do that as anglers, if we don't fish as anglers, it's just like sex. You have the longing for it. If you don't have it, you're thinking about it. If you're not catching fish,
yeah, but you can get like shots for the sex thing.
Why would I do that?
Yeah, but I mean, you can cure that with a androgen or estrogen or whatever the hell, or you could actually get castrated. The fishing thing is really hard that's a tough deal.
That's your buddy, Chris. You hang out with him every day.
Matter of fact,
a lot.
That's your guy. That's your guy right there. That's your ride or die, bud.
I'm his counselor.
Yeah, that's your ride or die. You're in trouble right now.
That's your counselor.
I'm just his counselor because, the reason that fishermen hire guides is because they can't stand each other. And so for when I was guiding for $15 a day, a guide will do anything, including hang around with a fisherman.
Yeah, will you be my counselor?
Yeah. Uncle Larry's counseling service.
Hey, counselor, my sex drive's out of control. Well, you can always get castrated.
Always get castrated. You didn't say have your. According to Larry Dahlberg. Remember, this is the glorified version of a bass fishing.
I like how matter of fact you are about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, have your pet spayed and neutered.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We also do cauterizations. I got a lead melting thing.
A bizarre schmelting accident.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I want to talk a little bit about more of the evolution of you, Larry Dahlberg. And was there ever a time in your fishing career where you are a competitor, a tournament angler, a derb fisherman, whether it was muskie, bass, walleye?
I can remember the first guy I ever met that I'd never heard of that, that kind of stuff. They had ice fishing derbies and things like that. I was working in a sporting goods store and a guy came in and he was talking about fishing. He was a musician, actually, playing at the Howard Johnson's or something.
Nice.
And he was a lure maker, really a cool guy. He taught me a bunch of stuff about lure finish, in fact. And I told him about this lake where there was a bunch of 6-pound largemouth that I was catching on crankbaits. and he said to me, were you pre-fishing? I was an English major, and I'd never heard the term.
Pre-fishing. I
said, was I pre-fishing? And my head's going twing, 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 twing. I'm either fishing or I'm not. I'm pre-fishing, it's before. What about post-fishing? Am I post-fishing or
you can get a shot for that, Larry.
He shorted out my head, kind of, and I said, what do you mean? He said, were you fishing for a tournament? I said, no, I'm just staying on this lake, and there's a bunch of great big giant 24-inch long largemouth bass out of these 2 points.
You're loving it.
Crankbait that'll get down 14 feet. You could catch them, like a lot of them. And that was my first introduction. And then I started running these guys that were walleye fishermen that were customers of the store that wanted to get into these bass competitions and so on. And the whole concept of it kind of turned me off because, hell, I wasn't going to show them my spots. I wanted to show them what I'm doing. So I just never got too involved in it. And I fished with a lot of guys that, the famous tournament guys.
Sure you have. Yeah, I mean, you've been around.
I had a guy that wanted me to do it. Spencer Longshore the third. Maybe he's even watching.
Spencer Longshore the third.
Yeah, Spencer's one of the coolest people that ever lived. He's like a giant, and he was the head of advertising for Bassmaster magazine.
Wow.
And I went up. He got into ad business himself, and we hired him when I was working at In Fisherman. And he actually helped turn the whole company around. It sold so much. He was just unbelievably good salesman. Anyway, I took him to the Quetico, and there was a bass that was sitting on this by this log. And I caught it on a little topwater bait. He asked me if I could catch it again. I told him I could catch it probably 3 or 4 times. And he didn't believe me, and I showed him how I could do it. I started with a topwater, then went to a tube, and then I went to a leech with a floating jig head on it, and then I went to just a straight leech, and had 2 hours apart, hour and a half apart each time. And you just had to catch them in the right order. If I caught him on the first time on the last bait, he wouldn't have bit any of the ones that preceded it. Okay, do you understand where I'm going with this? It's really complicated. Anyway, then he wanted me to enter these. He was going to pay my way to do the Bassmaster thing, and he wanted me to wear like a hood and be like a masked crusader of some kind.
For real?
Yes, he was serious.
That would be awesome.
I think that would have been great.
Yeah, and
like you went out there as
competitive, I'm sure, but I still can't wear tights. I can't wear tights.
But the masked basser, like, I mean, we could even put you in a jumpsuit, like the Unknown comic.
I guess it would be like that. I could have get some of Virgil Ward's old blue jumpsuit.
Yeah, man. And then just a paper bag.
A paper bag? Yeah,
yes.
I love that show.
Yeah.
That was my favorite guy. And Mean Gene the Dancing Machine. Right? What was that guy's name?
The Unknown comic.
Yeah, but the main show.
The Masked Dancer thing or something?
No, not the Gong Show. The Gong Show.
The Gong Show, but the guy's name on the Gong Show.
Oh, the host.
The host, the crazy guy.
The guy that did all the cocaine. The heck was his name?
They did a movie about him. He was
allegedly.
Corey Feldman.
No, Andy, what was his name?
Rick James?
Not Rick James. What was the name of
Good guess.
the host? Somebody Google the host of the Gong Show. It's gonna Jerry Mathers.
No, that was Leave It to Beaver, for God's sake. I was going to say Lloyd Thaxton.
Andy's got
Charles Barris.
Chuck Barris.
Yep, Chuck Barris.
Chuck Barris. That's what it is. Chuck Barris.
It.
Yes.
Yeah, he played guitar too. He had a red ES335.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah, he used to kind of do a Chuck Berry thing across the stage.
I do remember that now. Yeah, he always had cool velvet suits. Yeah, he was very stylish.
He was the guy that had the comic with the paper bag over his head.
Yes,
that was the Unknown comic.
That's where that all started, and
yes.
And J.P. Morgan Chase or whatever her
Mean
name.
Gene the Dancing Machine.
Yeah,
okay,
they had a good time. They had a good time. I mean,
just like you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and let's face it, that was that's the golden age. Like so at that time.
That's kind of where you guys are at right now, though.
I'm stuck somewhere, and I don't know where it is, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy
I think
with
it's real close to the Gong Show.
I believe me. I gong myself constantly. It's
I can get
take that as you will.
Castration.
Yes, I cannot get castrated.
I wish it. Well, I wasn't suggesting that.
Stop it, Larry.
I was going to go with the hormones first.
Stop it.
Comes Counselor Larry again.
You don't want to tame the bull, Larry. I've work to do here.
So I go at that golden age. That's the golden age of fishing television as well. I mean, think about it. That kind of time is when things evolve. When was the first time you saw yourself on film, Larry, as a television fisherman?
Oh man!
Or like you were behind the camera first.
The very first time, it's really funny. It was like this. I was working at a sporting goods store, the same one where this tournament guy met me.
Okay.
And I was selling lure making stuff, plastic worms, and I got invited to be on a local live TV show.
Nice.
Chuck Ross show, and we tied a few
Chuck Barris
flies,
show.
made a jig, and then we're heating up the plastisol, which has to get to a certain temp before it will set. And some guy, it wasn't heating up, and some guy had kicked out the extension cord, and we're running out of time. He said, "We'll pour it anyway." So I poured it, and we tried to open the mold up. It was all gooey. And then we had marabou all over the place, and I ended up getting marabou feathers all over me and all over the other guy. And it was like, it was just
It's a bad
terrible.
hazing. It's like you thought you were back in
Really
college.
bad. I have it somewhere. My mother-in-law VHS taped it. Actually, what she did, she took a VHS camera and took a picture of the television with the VHS.
Nice.
We have that somewhere.
That's how you do it. But that was the
Yeah,
first time.
that
huh?
one was a bad deal. I remember that. That was a bad deal. It was almost as bad as Baby Ganji the elephant. The first time I ever had to do a sports show appearance, I did a casting demonstration,
Yeah.
and I lost my voice, so I couldn't speak. And I was getting ready to do this thing. I had to cast across this pool and land on this stage, and the thing ahead of me was an elephant called Baby Ganji, and at the end of its act, it was supposed to stand on its head on this little platform, which then it peed like a fountain.
Wow.
And it wasn't supposed to do that. And everybody's laughing, and then they got it out of there, and then okay, and here's Larry. And that was really bad because I was casting into a whole thing of elephant piss. And
Larry, it's hard to follow a pissing elephant.
Yeah, you should have just set it down.
and I couldn't even say anything.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't talk. I wasn't sure what to say.
You could have made gestures to simulate what you were trying
What
to say.
You know what I should have done?
Yes.
I should have zipped down my trowel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
stood in
exactly.
my head and
Good one of these-
thing I could have done.
Fight fire with fire.
Yeah, I'd have said, yeah, you want to see this? I can do that. I bet you can cast a fly rod.
That's me.
And I'm still bitter about it.
The Dahlberg trunk. There it is.
Oh my God. Got out Fox
Probably
fire,
not the
pissing
first
elephant.
time you've made a cast.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, from pee though.
Well, it was the first time it wasn't
Well,
the
that
only
was the
time.
first time.
Yeah, in
But there was
Africa.
times after.
This was actually in Duluth. It was in Duluth, Minnesota. Baby Ganji.
That might have been one of the only times there was an elephant in Duluth.
Can you
too.
please invent a lure called the Baby Ganji?
Last time Thanks, Ryan. The Baby Ganji.
I mean,
Oh, that's so funny.
You got to do that, Larry. You have to do that now.
perfect.
That is the Baby Ganji.
You got a
you
great
in this
story to
deal.
tell every time anyone asks you where you got the name.
It's got to be one of those lures that like it's got to be like a fountain lure, you know, like the
Yeah, like it
Yeah,
sprays
like-
water straight
Yeah,
up in the air or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Those poppers.
It's a
that
squirter.
water.
Tell you how I got the
Yeah.
idea.
yes.
Yeah, I'll write that down here. I've got a notebook somewhere, but I can't find it.
That's somewhere there, Larry. Keep it in the old noodle there for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were you behind the camera before you kind of? I know that was your first deal. Did you used to be actually a video guy or a film dude or something?
Nah, like I said, I'm an English major.
Okay.
And I can just pull stories like out of my butt if I need to. You know, I'm science fiction. Whatever.
So don't believe what you
Anyway-
read. That is
Anyway,
outstanding.
I can't remember.
So you were not
but I
really
got-
raised
but-
by wolves. I read that too. You were not raised
that's-
by wolves.
Yeah, I was raised by a
Okay,
couple.
as long
but-
as that's true.
No, I shot something with the guys at In Fisherman,
Chris, this guy's nuts.
and
I didn't know.
yeah, they wanted me to do something. I can't remember. So we did a thing about sturgeons, and I wrote a story about it. Put together this neat deal about, you know, Teddy Roosevelt was president when this thing was born, and I put together a real nice story. And the people liked it, and then they hired me to basically be the person that would be the producer of the TV and put together the segments for the television shows, just sort of, so they'd be well organized and made sense.
You just
And then
sandbag them.
I've always enjoyed still photography, and I started did a lot of shooting actually. I didn't fish. I'd rather do that than the fishing part of it a lot of the times.
Really?
It's fun to capture it. It's about capturing this moment, and it's either on a hook or both.
Yeah, I see exactly what you mean there too, because I kind of get the angle. Do you like seeing yourself on video? Do you enjoy seeing you?
It took a long time to get used to it.
Yeah, because like
I'd rather see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch my lure come in than watch me watch my lure come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with you there, and it's like in this day of social media and products in action, that we all are that's today's society. That's today's fishing world. And I don't like seeing me in videos, but I really enjoy the fish. Like I'll watch it. I like seeing the catch. Like that thrill of that catch is what I enjoy watching. Like if I could not be in it, it would be even better.
Well, the best way to make that happen is you got to stand up, go forward, turn off the television, walk outside, get in your boat or your car, and then actually cast, and then you can watch them.
See,
it's an easy one. See, that's why I can be a counselor.
Exactly.
Yeah, Larry, your advice is
I mean,
revolutionary and groundbreaking. It's saving
I
us
also
all.
can provide any forgiveness you might need.
Oh, I need plenty. Believe me.
Yeah, I do. If you do, I have you make like X number of long casts, and you have to say like 3 or 4 Hail Larrys,
Hail Larry.
and then your
Hail Larrys
sins are forgiven.
But it's with like double 15 Colorado blades, so it's like a lot of work to reel back in.
15 blue barrels of plastisol delivered to the to the Dahlberg residence. The ones without Stacy Peterson in
Twin
them.
reverse cowgirls.
Yes.
What?
Twin reverse. What? Huh? Twin Susie Suckers. What?
Twin cowgirls. Excuse me.
Anyway, what was your deal with the Inn Fisherman? Can you give us a synopsis of your history with the Inn Fisherman?
Well, let's see. Roland Martin gave me a call. Spence Petros.
Yeah.
Remember Spence Petros?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Spence and Roland were up here trying to catch, in this part of the world, trying to catch something. And they'd been fishing for a long time, like a week or something. They hadn't caught anything. And I got a call from Spence out of the blue. I didn't know him. Do you think you could put us on a muskie? And I said, yeah, if there's any question. I just got back. I haven't been fishing for 2 weeks. Everything's perfect. So they came up and we got a double on muskies and actually caught 3 of them, bing, 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 in one spot. And then told Al Linder about it. Elmo then wanted me to take him fishing. We went fishing. And then he offered me a deal where I'd be a consultant for their magazine and write an article for each of the issues, primarily about fly fishing. And then I went to work for him full time as a TV producer type dude.
And then how many years was it actually that you were there?
Man, gosh, 8.
Okay.
6, 8 years, maybe somewhere like that.
And
I got tired of they wanted to focus a lot on the professional walleye trail and so on. And I wasn't too interested in pursuing that.
I hated when those episodes came on. Oh, I was like, gosh dang it.
That was the worst part of my Saturday
PWT
too.
episode. Damn it.
Yeah. Poor white trash. That's what people used to say. But I just wasn't interested in that. I was more interested that we had a lot of stuff going on that was really neat stuff going. One Cast Beyond tomorrow, and there's still some of the stuff with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife that they're using. That the Pathway to Fishing thing is something I put together.
Wow.
We did a lot of neat stuff there, but I just decided I wanted to see more of the world and started the hunt for big fish. It would be in about 1990, 1991.
Did you leave there on good terms to the Inn Fisherman?
Yeah, fair terms. I was one of the they had a program. It was called Golden Handcuffs. There was three of us were key employees, and I left a lot of money on the table when I left there. But I don't have any regrets about it at all.
Do you talk to those gentlemen to this day?
I haven't seen Al for 2 or 3 shows. As you know, Ron passed away. Here,
Sure. Yeah.
months back. I talk to Jimmy every now and then. Jimmy and I used to spend really a lot of time together.
You were
But I
tight
haven't
with
seen
Jimmy
him for a while.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, and that's kind of like when I first heard about you, and then of course the hunt for big fish was, and I think I probably got turned on to the hunt for big fish probably around 94. Is when I really was able to watch it. Let's put it that way, like got cable and stuff, you know, and was able to actually watch the show. But man, it was like every time on the hunt for big fish, what we would look forward to, and guys in the room, correct me if I'm wrong, was the unknown. Because we never knew what the hell you were going to get into, Larry. We were so used to being bass guys. And we knew, like, I'm speaking for us group of bass anglers. We knew what we were getting on the Bassmasters and on those different blocks. And but with you, every week we had no freaking clue what Dahlberg was going to hit us with.
Yeah, it was the only non-bass show that I watched or taped. Because it was just
one of the
dude
reasons
in the
I
jungle.
did it that way was because of all the bass stuff. I felt like so much had been covered, and the tournament thing is a whole different deal. It's like, you know, covering a basketball game in a lot of ways. And I thought, well, what would be interesting? And I thought, if I go to these strange places and I use tactics, strategies, mechanics that apply to the fish that we all like to fish for, and to go do these oddball fish, it's like science fiction. And so it levels the playing field.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you like to fish for. This applies, but it's like science fiction. And then there were short segments. We cut it together. I've on all my field tapes for every episode, there's a sidebar about some tactical thing or some mechanical thing or some strategic thing that didn't even get included, but it's there. But what we do is get the best action and then cut it together into what my friends used to call fish porno.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then they were really fun. It was really hard to edit. It was harder to edit these 5-minute pieces than it is a half-hour show, because you have to decide what you're going to cut, you know, and it's so hard to do.
I mean, the whole thing with the hunt for big fish, again, with like just crazy stuff, like watching you dive in the water to go get peacocks in a brush pile, you know?
Well, I had to do that. I was on a really tight budget.
Yeah, you had to. I know. Yeah, you had to risk your life. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, and you got slapped. I seen you get slapped in the face by a giant Mekong catfish or something.
That was actually a lala. That would eat.
Oh, a lala.
Catfish eats like.
Was that a baby yaki? What was the name?
Yeah, what was the
lala?
What was the elephant's name?
What was the elephant's name? Baby Gangi.
Baby Gaji, the elephant.
Baby Gaji.
Oh, Baby
I didn't get
Ganji.
splashed. Baby Ganji was far enough away. I never got splashed by Baby Ganji. So that old rumor is not true.
False. Fake news.
Man, I mean, but the whole deal. Tell me, so you went from filming in Fisherman, all right, and working for the In Fisherman, and you're like, man, I want to travel, and I'm going to do a hunt for big fish. So the first, did it start off exotic, or were you kind of like big fish?
Well, here's what happened. This is kind of funny. The week that I left In Fish, I was scheduled to go that following Saturday, like 3 days later, to Costa Rica with Spencer Longshore the third. Spencer
Coming full circle.
And
did you have a mask? Did you both have masks on in Costa Rica?
Yeah, I had to promise never to bring him back to Costa Rica.
Did you wrestle things?
No, but
With the
anyway,
masks on.
we went. It was a left on Saturday with the head of advertising for Abu Garcia
Okay.
and Stren and Woodstream. One guy's name is Dick Wood, and
Go figure.
Spencer, and then the head of advertising for Chevy, and another guy, their head ad agency guy. We went to Costa Rica fishing tarpon. Oh, and also the editor of Chevy Outdoors magazine. That was like 1.5 million circulation magazine. It was a fantastic magazine. And anyway, we all went down there, and one of the guys that was with us, a brilliant guy named Barchek, he's the guy that developed a rock campaign for Chevy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I had a bunch of TV ideas.
The Seeger one.
We went through them all and looked at them, and Barchek says, Lair, just do a short segment. Do the big fish thing. Says the media girls won't know how to measure it, and you'll just kill it, and do that one. And by the time I came home a week later, I had a TV show basically already paid for. The guys were all willing to advertise and
Heck
so on.
yeah.
All I had to do was go produce it and find a place to air it. And I did a little demo thing of catching lake trout on flies and other things, great big lake trout. Sent it to ESPN and didn't hear anything. Then I get a phone call, come out here right away. I go out there, and they met me at the airport, and we're all cranked up, and how's that?
The rest is history. And it beat chasing PWT derbs, huh?
Oh, God. When I was a little kid, my mom didn't want my dad and I fishing muskies until we had filled the freezer with walleyes.
Okay.
So I always look
You
at
have a
walleyes.
resentment.
Got a quota.
Their only redeeming quality to me is that they make good table fare. And
Delicious.
that's that. And so I'm with you on that. I mean, that's fine. You can go catch all the walleyes you want. I love walleye fishermen. I love walleyes.
Sure.
I love it.
I like the walleye cheeks. That's my favorite. The
cheeks.
cheeks.
Yeah, they're greatly overrated. I can fillet a walleye in 45 seconds. It takes me that long to get one cheek out.
That's true.
I usually just around here, I go to Long John Silver's a lot, Larry.
Long John, see, it's walleye you're eating.
Do they got the
I
cheeks?
pretend it's walleye cheeks.
Yeah,
but it's really crunches with a little bit of fish in it. Mystery fish.
It's gristle.
It's some...
better than the other way around.
Larry, why were you not the host of River Monsters?
Yeah, that's that.
Were you getting to that?
No, that's great, Ryan. It's a perfect segue.
Why? I mean,
I want to ask
when I
him
saw that show, I was just like, why was Larry?
Well, I don't think that's
Get them was
I
Larry
don't think
resume
that's
for
the
that
thing.
show.
Like, not why wasn't he the host?
Well, I got some phone calls from the people that were producing that show early on, and they were asking me about these various species of fish that could eat you.
Right.
And I told them that they were crazy, and that wasn't, those fish don't come up and eat you and stuff like that. And then I got calls.
They'll just hurt you.
I sold the people that do that a whole bunch of underwater footage of catfish.
Is that right?
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I charged them an outrageous amount of money, and they paid it.
Good for you.
But I think that show just made my show worth more.
The dude's a pussy.
Sure.
I mean, I'm gonna be flat out.
Well, it's just
here's Ryan.
not a good fighter of fish.
I'm glad you brought that up because it seems fabricated. Now I know he has the best of intentions.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to put the guy down. I know guys that have fished with him. He's gone to many of the places where I have been, and then he's gone there later. And I've talked about, you've got in angling, there are 3 aspects, and only 3. Your tactical side of it, your mechanical side of it, and your strategic side of it. The mechanics you can control completely. Your casting, your boat control, so on. It's up to you. With practice, you can accomplish it. Without practice, you can't do it. But it can be done without, you can do that. And then you've got the strategic side, which is about making decisions about where you're going to fish and reading the environmental options. And then you've got a tactical part that puts together your strategy and your mechanics. This guy can't cast.
No.
You watch someone just operate mechanically,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell you right away, the guy has not fished with lures. Perhaps he's, fished a lot watching a bobber, where you throw it out and let it sit there. You can watch someone, you guys fish enough, you can just watch. You can watch 2 casts, 3 casts, watch a guy work a lure. You know whether the guy's a stick or not.
Yeah, 1 cast.
Yeah, 100%. That's the problem. Yeah. And I got a text. I'm sorry, I did not mean he was a pussy. I just meant that I didn't think that his mechanics were there.
Yeah,
Well,
right. And his strategy is let's go to where the
he was
shark ate the guy 200 years ago and sit here and wait, and we'll use a chunk of his uncle's arm for bait. I mean, come on.
I mean, to me, it was just I'm just watching it, thinking I've already seen such a better version of this show. Why didn't they just take it and put it on a bigger network?
Well,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I don't know. It's obvious the guy didn't have that natural ability, and that was definitely the.
Well, he was just, but whatever.
Hey, it's how
I mean, everybody has to find their own path. Grasshopper.
Hey,
I'm frankly, I'm sick of like relatives of mine or family friends saying you're going to be the next this guy, and I'm like, who the hell is that guy?
Harry Schmerler, the singing Ford man?
Yeah, like that. I mean, that's what
Yes.
the masses know is that guy as a fisherman. And just like, come on. You get a real fisherman in there.
Jeremy Wade Boggs.
And
played for the Boston
no
Red
offense
Sox.
to that guy. He made a show. But
Hey, God bless him. Got to travel the world. And he got, he did stuff.
There were better options.
Yeah, he did
He
stuff.
gets all the chicks, too.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You know stories of that?
No, but
You're just assuming.
all those National Geographic guys,
They get the tail.
they just get the chicks. The girls that don't wear deodorant. It ain't like Tarzan and Jane. No, it's more like, I sat by this old lady on an airplane one time. And,
Jane of the Jungle.
I mean, I had to hold my breath, and she had this briefcase that had these rattling noises. And I was really curious. I said, what on earth is in your briefcase? She took it out, opened it up, and there's little vials about this tall, little glass vials, like many. So this is, I figured out the chemistry of the Amazon, why there are no big animals. And I'm thinking, well, why do you smell so bad? But I'm not going to go directly there. And, she's dressed like, Brahma of the jungle.
Like Ganji the elephant girl?
Yeah, like God, baby Ganji.
Like baby Ganji the bearded elephant woman?
And she actually had a few whiskers. But anyway, and she was somewhat overweight. And pale complexion for someone that claimed to be outside. But anyway, what she had been doing is capturing bats and milking bats.
Ooh.
Getting this bat.
Their
smell.
nipples are so small, those bats.
I can't believe this. And then she had determined that the calcium in the system wasn't sufficient to support large bone-bodied animals, and she'd spent like years down there discovering this. I don't know how I got on that subject, but
bat milk.
Bats, you can actually milk.
I don't trust things that come from bats allegedly anymore.
You're into that Ebola thing?
Yeah. Ozzy, ever since Ozzy bit the head off, I don't know.
Yeah. The beginning of that story sounded like it was going to be a
Ozzy
fantastic
Osbourne
joke.
bite the
Yeah.
That was really that's an odd thing to do.
That,
It is.
That's it.
So Brian
thought it
bit
was
the
fake.
head off a
Hey.
rainbow trout once. That's pretty gross.
What's that, Chris?
His friend bit the head off a rainbow trout.
Oh, yeah? On a bat or just because he's nuts?
Just because that's what he does, We were brown trout fishing, and he was convinced he was cursed.
It's not like my...
All he could catch was rainbows, so he just
That's childish.
He went
yeah, it was totally childish.
He went all grizzly.
I like that.
Bear Grylls would do that.
Yeah, he's real. Not.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Hey, Chris, can we borrow your counselor for a minute? Can we get some counseling with Uncle Lair and ask Larry questions? For
just don't use up any of my time. That's very valuable to me. All those answers. There's only so many.
Does he have lawyer-esque fees, Chris? Is this? Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's. All right. I like it, Andy. Nice choice. It's time for Ask Uncle Lair. Advice you can live by and live with. It's Ask Advice with Larry Dahlberg, and this is a chance for you, viewers, Bass Galaxy out there, to maybe throw in a few questions of your own for Larry Dahlberg. You can do it now or you can do it later, and I'll start us off. This is how you play Ask Uncle Lair. That was ridiculous. Hey, Uncle Larry, I'm getting ready to go into a little TV endeavor myself with my buddy Seth Fighter and Matt Robertson. We're gonna do a little TV show, and I want to get a monkey. I want to get a pet monkey, and we all want to get a monkey, but
llamas and monkeys.
Yeah, llamas and monkeys. Yeah, we should have those pets, and Matt would get a giraffe. But anyway, I'm the only single one, so I have to keep the monkey at my house. So, because their wives won't let this happen, but I can keep the monkey up here in the studio. Is that okay, Andy?
Monkey be good for you.
Yeah, monkey's perfect for me. So, give me some advice about monkeys, or something to beware of monkeys. I know you've had monkey encounters.
Do you know about the shit-flinging monkeys?
I've heard about that. Tell me about that. I do know, but tell me more.
It was in the mid-'80s. We were in Venezuela. The first time I went out of the country, it was actually with Al Linder and Jimmy. I don't know if Al was in the boat with us. I don't think so. It was probably me and Jimmy.
Okay.
It was when they were first flooding Guri Reservoir, and we'd been catching peacock bass and doing, it was really fun. Nothing giant, low teeners, but for them, we didn't know. And I heard this sound, in the far off distance, which I thought was heavy machinery. And so we went through these trees, just winding, pushing the boat. It was so hard. Couldn't even just inching our way through deep water. But, these trees are 100 feet tall and you're in 45 feet of water and you're really difficult. And as we got further and further back in, we realized it was not the sound of heavy machinery, but it was howler monkeys, and they were flooding the jungle. So all these things were stuck in the top of this one area in the treetop, thousands of them. And when we got underneath them, they started throwing shit at us.
Oh, no.
There was nothing we could do about it. We were in a boat. They were 40, 50 feet above us, and there's thousands of them just pelting.
Did you put Jimmy Linder in front of you like a shield?
No, we were both just and trying to get the boat turned around and then get out of there. And you couldn't go, just bump, like fighting to get out. And they're staying right over our heads, coming with us, And we had like monkey shit deep in the boat, and it get on you and get kind of a red irritation.
Oh no!
No, it's not like nice, clean, nice, marble like dog turds you could roll. I mean, this is like. Eat bananas, man.
Yeah, that's not nice.
No,
that's
literal
not a nice
deep shit.
consistency.
And welcome to Venezuela.
Wow. So what are you telling me?
Monkeys?
So don't
all the other monkeys I know, man. They'll bite you. The ones on Tarzan are very exceptional monkeys. I'd like to have one like if you had one like that, it'd be fine.
That's the kind I want. Or like from The Hangover. Like that kind.
Like from where?
The Hangover movie.
So they can just shit on command.
Or that Clint Eastwood movie. That one.
The Every Which Way You Loose But Can.
That was an orangutan.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. An orange uttan.
Monkey to me. They're all the same. I'm not prejudiced at all. I don't have one prejudice bone in my body when it comes to any of the anthropoids. Have you ever seen a fish eat a monkey? No.
But aren't there fish that eat monkeys in trees?
Would a pima eat one?
Is that the Pyara or something?
Fell in.
Well, I saw a wolffish eat an iguana that was freaking that long.
That would be awesome.
A wolffish would eat a monkey, a baby monkey, or a medium-sized monkey if it fell in. But monkeys don't fall in that much.
Pretty
from my experience. So I'm thinking about it. You got different kinds of monkeys, and you never see any monkeys around the rivers in Africa. You see a lot of monkeys around the rivers in South America.
I saw one thing on National Geographic. Speaking of that, they get all the tail. We know that. But the monkey.
I don't like monkeys. Why are we talking about monkeys?
I'm fascinated by monkeys right now. Sorry.
Are you going to
Larry.
call the show like Mullets and Monkeys? Are you going to cut your hair into a mullet too? Or?
I just put it behind my ears. It would be deceiving. You'd think it was a mullet. All right, fine, Larry. Guest. We won't talk about monkeys anymore. Have it your way.
I like dogs. My dog's right over there sleeping. Mojo's sleeping.
Mojo rising?
Yeah, Mojo's really a good dog. Mojo the musky dog.
Mojo's rising.
Mojo's rising. All right. Tell me a story about a fish that hurt you.
A fish that hurt me?
Yeah. Physically hurt you. Ouch. That hurts.
Well,
that's smart.
There, I can think of two. I was in the Caspian Sea fishing for beluga sturgeons. And I was just drunk with a drunken Russian. And he was sleeping
vodka
in the boat. It was like a 12-foot boat.
His name was Ganji.
And their boats are like really rugged, rough tin. If anything comes close and touches one of these Russian boats, your line is cut. And I got this great big sturgeon that I'm fighting on light tackle. And I had to jump out of the boat. And it was water maybe about this deep, and I get it up. And back then I used to be a gymnast, and I could lift a great deal of weight. And I got this thing up like this, and I had him curled, and everything was fine. And he had his tail like around this way, and then he went and straightened out his tail, and I was holding him, and went, and I pulled my AC joint.
Ooh.
Oh. And that was painful.
Yeah.
And I was fighting these marlin. I'd made this deal. I could put 70 pounds of drag on these marlins if I get in the right position. And I was fighting this fish, and I bumped on a wave, and I tore a big hernia up here.
Ouch.
Which I still have. I puked. I didn't know what it was for sure. It just hurt. It hurt, and then I just puked.
That's a lot of torque. That's a lot of torque you were putting on that marlin.
Yeah. I was landing them. The longest it took me to land one. We caught 20 some of them in 10 days. And the smallest ones were in the 500 and 600 pound range. The biggest one was over 1,000. And the longest it took me to land one was 28 minutes. Quickest ones were like 18 minutes. We were putting like 70 pounds of pressure on them. And they'd run, ping, 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 line it, ping, back off. And what had happened, if you kept that kind of pressure, they'd keep it in high gear, and they just get beat. They'd be in high all the time. If you don't put that pressure on him, 1,000-pound fish weighs 50 pounds if he's dead. And so you need to have 50 pounds even to move them if they were sitting still. Yeah. So what happens if you don't put enough pressure on them, they shift down into second or third gear or first gear, and you can be on them for 3.5 hours, and all you end up with is a chapped ass.
Wow.
If you put enough pressure on them early, they burn out.
Dude, that's
it's really a lot of pressure, and you have to like keep it on them.
Larry, I have a third one that maybe you forgot about, but it's actually the first time I ever saw you on camera. Do you remember the Berkeley Fishing Follies video?
Oh, when I stuck my hand in a pike's mouth?
Yes.
That didn't really hurt though.
Well, it looked really on camera. It was like what you were like fly fishing for giant pike, and you're trying to show them the fly.
I had those jaw spreaders, and I was catching these big pike, and the jaw spreaders weren't big enough. And I'd lose them.
Things smashed down on your finger.
3 jaw spreaders, and I stuck my hand in there. I knew it would happen, and then I just made a kind of a stupid face, and I waited for his mouth to open. I took my hand out. So that just made some little tiny holes. It wasn't that bad.
That's nothing. He liked that kind of thing.
Nothing.
But anybody who's fished pike and muskies, you end up with a hole poked in you now and then.
That'll happen.
Sure.
That'll happen. Hey, have you ever had encounters with headhunters?
Yeah, one time.
Are they as scary as they were on Gilligan's Island?
Yeah, one time.
I would compare them to the ones on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, they're kind of like that.
They were in New Guinea. I got a picture of them with holding a pack of beef jerky. Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But the funny part is it was Bigfoot's head they were holding next to the.
Oh,
some Jack Lynch.
Some Jack Lynch.
Jack Lynch.
Hey, but seriously, don't worry about headhunters?
Nah.
Nothing?
Nah.
What about quicksand? Do I got to worry about quicksand anymore?
You've been watching too many Tarzan movies.
Well, gosh
what
dang
you
it,
got to
Larry.
watch out for of all that stuff, where they put the two palm trees together, they bend them down like that.
Yeah,
and they tie one on your right leg and they tie the other on your left leg.
The catapult crotch split? Yeah.
That you watch out for.
That's freaking
stuff,
real.
Don't worry about.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yeah.
Hey,
What bit you on the hand that made your hand be all crazy?
I almost lost my arm once.
That's pretty wild.
That was a bad deal. We were in Gabon. It was not, I got bit by a tsetse fly, which is, no big deal, but I picked at it. It was like right here.
Okay.
And on the last day we were there, I noticed it was getting a little swollen, and I woke up in the airplane. It's not a long ride to Gabon. It's only, 8, 10, 12 hours, because but anyway, I could feel my heart beating in it. 2 or 3 days went by, and there was like a golf ball size thing here, yellow, and then a line coming up and another thing coming up, another thing. And I went to the doctor, and he said, 3 years ago, I had to cut it off right now, right here. And we'll try this. And they hooked me up to antibiotics and then, in the hospital and all that crap. And, I won't go into the gory details, but it finally exploded. And
wow.
Still got my arm. It took a long time for my fingers to come back. I couldn't play guitar for a long time. All the packets in I don't know what happened. It's some things screwed up.
From a damn tsetse
I'm
fly.
fine now.
Yeah, I saw that one too on Gilligan. The damn tsetse flies get you.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Chris saw it. He knows. He knows. Hey, what's it like to trip on beetle nut?
What's that?
What's it like to be on beetle nut?
Nothing. Like, I tried them and I couldn't tell any difference between that and just sitting there. It was about 105 degrees. I asked the native, what's the point? He said, it makes me feel warm. I said, are you sure it's a beetle nut?
Yeah, right.
It would be the sun. Yeah. I think they're overrated. They make your teeth turn black. Yeah, it is the beetle nut. They got a beetle nut, and then it's calcium, and then there's a little stick of what the heck is it? I forget even what it is. It's a little green stick that you chew, and you mix those three things together, and it has a chemical reaction.
And that's what they do. It's like a synergistic.
Yeah. Mustard. It's a mustard plant, I think.
Oh.
You could look it up, the 3 ingredients for making beetle nut.
Makes for some interesting smiles.
Yeah.
There's a new series come out called Breaking Beetle Nut. Have you heard? There's a bunch of beetle nut distributors, and they make it in trailers and stuff, Larry, and sell it.
Write that down.
Breaking Beetle Nut. I don't know. I mean, Larry, I used to live hard and free, and now I just live free and hard. So I'm curious about things like beetle nut and stuff. Is there other like exotic substances that you may or may not have played with abroad?
I don't know. There was stuff that the Mongolians were fermented milk. But as far as hallucinogenics and things like that, nah.
What's this Mongolian stuff?
I got off the airplane, and this Texan comes up to me. He says, if you can eat one bite of this, I'll kiss your ass. And I didn't want to kiss my ass. I didn't want to, I knew it tasted bad, but man, you put it like a piece as big as a BB in your mouth, and it almost make you throw up. I don't know what it was. They liked it. But you have to develop a taste, obviously, for some of these things.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, that's nuts.
Ish.
The Mongolian guy said, the Texas guy in Mongolia said, "Here, eat this."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was like, and if you go chasing rabbits, and there's,
and then there was Jim Morrison in the desert.
Yeah, and there's a desert with a little Indian and a midget, and they're like, "Come on, Larry, let's go." Let's go exotic bassin', Larry. Come on.
With Indians and midgets?
Yes, Indians and midgets and Jim Morrison
in the jungle.
What about a midget Indian?
Yes.
I've never met one of those.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool, actually. They're fun to
I grew
hang
up with
out.
a lot of Indian friends.
Did you?
Yeah.
Jason Christie's an Indian.
Jason Christie's an Indian?
Yeah,
Cherokee.
He's Cherokee. Yeah, he's Rose.
So is Tom Mann.
Tom Mann, one of my favorite Indians ever.
Stink bug.
Is that what that is? That's a giant stink bug.
we got a
You know
nice
what that means? Spring's coming. Only
That's right.
Only 39 days. No, 67 days from the spawn. Only 67 days till they spawn here.
That's not so long.
All right, my last question about exotics, and I want to know about exotic babes. Like, and again, I know you're a married guy, but I know you see things. So, like, is that because I'm gonna go traveling and fishing? That's part of my agenda, and I'm gonna go travel abroad, and I hope to see exotic broads abroad.
Broads abroad.
Yeah. So tell me about so if I go to the Amazon, can I expect to see babes?
I don't think so.
No.
You ever watch those old or look at the old National Geographic magazines?
Yeah.
You know,
old
you
Sagalina.
might see some of that in Africa, but not much anymore since Erwin Jacobs ships all those T-shirts and stuff that are overruns from Walmart and Kmart.
The pistoleros.
But no, I think if you're going to go anywhere where there's really good fishing and all that kind of stuff, there's not real big population. So I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. You might in the airplane there might be a pretty stewardess or something.
I can look forward to that. Long flights. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought you guys were fishing. But it sounds
no, but that's part of it.
Go through that castration thing in order to get your mind right.
12. I'm a 12-year-old, 50-year-old. Careful with me.
You got to get your mind right, boy.
What is the food and the drink of the gods, Mr. Dahlberg? The food.
What is the food and the drink of the gods?
Yes, the food and the drink.
Did you ask me that?
Yeah, I sure did.
How would I know?
I don't know. What is your food and drink? Like, what is your choice? What is the creme de la creme of food and beverage?
Oh man, it ain't what you like that makes you fat, it's what you get.
Okay.
You gotta roll with what you got in front of you. If I got my choice, I don't know. I like meat, fruit.
What's your
oatmeal?
Oatmeal? Okay.
I'm a big oatmeal man. Yeah, I make a lot of oatmeal.
He makes famous oatmeal, actually.
Like I'm famous
really?
for.
Why is it famous, Chris?
Just every time we go on trips, that's what we eat every morning for breakfast. And our buddy Josh that goes with us, he was never an oatmeal guy. And Josh is 50 something years old. He never had oatmeal before, and Larry turned him on to an oatmeal eater just like that. So it's pretty good, man.
Does he really? Do you really just have little Quaker packets, and then you tell him?
Oh no,
man, are you
make
kidding
them
me?
just to open it up? It's
apples and cinnamon.
Like, right now,
I'll make it for you guys real quick. I'm Larry Dahlberg.
You can make all the jokes you want, but you insult the man's oatmeal, it's going to be over really soon.
You're not talking, that's
fighting words.
That is some glutinous concoction that didn't make the wallpaper paste grade. No, I'm talking about oatmeal.
Okay, I would love to try it.
Are you putting something special in it? What's going in there?
Cherries in it, with raisins in it, with walnuts in it, with
Whoa.
a little splash of yogurt on top of it, with like the 5-minute oatmeal. Maybe if we're gonna get really hot, we'll put a little bit of Ralston and maple. Just fold it in at the end.
Wow.
Yeah, it's famous. I'm not kidding.
Wow. I like your little flavor crystal you put in there at the end, Mr. Dahlberg. The little maple. I like how you did that. A little hint of maple. I like it. Yeah.
Tide Pod, whatever.
Tide Pod. That'll keep them off the fish. Hey, what's a song that describes you? Like a song that one of your favorite songs, or just a song that you think is your anthem, the Dahlberg anthem.
A song?
Yeah, a song. Like your jam. What's Dahlberg's jam?
Whew.
Song that makes you happy, Larry. Song you like to hear. Song that you're going to sing in your head. Maybe out loud. Tap your toes.
One of my favorite songs of all time is a song called Corn Palace.
Corn Palace?
Yeah, you'd have to Google it.
Okay.
It's an instrumental.
Gotcha.
I think, what was his name?
Ravi Shankar?
Frankie Yankovic.
Wow. Can't remember the guy's name. It's a guitar thing.
Ingve?
Nice tune. Look it up, Corn Palace.
Corn Palace. Okay.
Yeah.
And seriously, that's your jam. Like that
I
song
really
makes you
like
happy.
that. I like that tune. Yeah, when I hear Corn Palace, I tap my foot.
Okay.
Otherwise, a theme for the Andy Griffith Show.
Of course.
I like that song too.
It makes you think of fishing, doesn't it?
Well, you know.
I don't know. I
I
do.
think that's a nice, catchy tune.
I think of Richie Cunningham getting ready to go fishing and then I think of the drunk guy in the cell.
Matlock.
Yeah, Matlock.
Yeah.
I think of David Hasselhoff.
Matlock.
All that good stuff. Hey,
Otis was the drunk guy.
Yeah, Otis was. And then there's the citizen's arrest guy.
Oh, Barney Fife. Barney Fife.
Citizen's arrest. He was great in Three's Company, by the way. Underrated. Mr. Furley.
Perverted landlord.
Mr. Furley was completely underrated. Chris, did you watch yourself any Three's Company? Because I highly recommend all three blondes, for sure. They were always cold, Chris. For some reason, they were always cold. And I didn't make it through that intro a lot of times with Suzanne
They weren't all blonde. There was one had black hair and bangs.
She didn't even count.
It's like 3 shows in a row. We're talking Three's Company.
Yeah.
That's a terrible show. That was John Ritter, right?
My gosh, that's one of the best shows ever, Larry.
I
Shame
figured
on
that
you.
you guys would be
Norman
into that. No wonder
Norman-
you don't catch anything worth catching.
He just slammed us.
He did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Hard. You're watching Three's Company.
Yeah.
John Ritter was your role model.
Jack lived with 2 babes.
You're wait a minute, now I'm insulted. You're watching The Hunt for Big Fish in your pajamas on Saturday morning.
Yep.
And then you go thunk, 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 thunk. You click through Captain Kangaroo because you've seen all of those.
Yeah.
You didn't have SpongeBob yet.
No, we
And
didn't.
then thunk, you're on Three's.
Three's Company.
You're watching John Ritter and Three's Company.
Maybe a little Love Boat. I'm not emphasizing
not even
John
working,
Ritter.
Andy.
I thought you're
Bassmasters, Bob Cobb.
Yeah, Bob Cobb. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not emphasizing John Ritter. Let's get that straight. I'm like it's not. I wasn't watching it for Jack Tripper and him falling.
And you even knew his name.
And him being of
Norman-
course, because I
Norman
know
Phelps.
every damn episode. Yeah. Just
What was your favorite episode of Three's Company and why?
Oh gosh. Well, I have to think it was the one where Chrissy's dad came to visit, and he's a preacher, and he had to explain she had to explain that Jack was really a platonic relationship.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I see. That's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
that's so lame.
It was so amazingly, horribly awkward and just not even good that I just watched Chrissy the whole time.
This segment has been for all of our young listeners.
Yes, that have
by the
no
way.
idea.
You
what
guys
we're
go to
talking
like those schools where the nuns and stuff whack you and the fingers for doing things.
Dude, I got whacked all the time at
The
school. I went to Catholic school. They beat the shit out of me.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Thank you. I'll tell you some other time about some things. I don't
No,
need
that's
more.
okay. Just you can confess anything. Like I said,
When you
I'm
and I
sorry.
don't go fishing, we can talk all about this, and you can set me straight. All right,
okay.
we got all that.
I don't want to set you straight. I just want to help you.
Thank you. I need your help, Larry.
Yeah, I'm like Dr. Phil, only I'm not that tight with Oprah.
but a better fisherman. That's what I need. I need Dr. Phil that fishes, and you're my guy. You're my guy right there.
I'm with you there. I wouldn't show him anything.
Hey, the River to Sea.
Yeah.
Whopper Plopper.
Yep.
All right. And we're gonna get into the story of the Whopper.
He was
Plopper.
born right here.
Right
He
there.
was born right here on this table.
Right there. And I mean, if you had to put a number on it, how many Whopper Ploppers do you think have been sold?
How many what?
Like a number of Whopper Ploppers. How many Whopper Ploppers have been sold in the history of Whopper Plopper?
I don't have any idea.
You couldn't even put a number on it. You couldn't pin like 1 million, 500,000?
Oh, I'm sure there's been 500,000 of them. More than that.
500,000 Ploppers.
I ain't
Yeah, I'm
fished
sure
with
more
anyone
than
that
that.
doesn't have one.
Say it again.
I haven't fished with anyone that doesn't have one.
Yeah, everybody,
Last, like,
whether
4 or
they
5
catch
years.
fish on them or not, everyone has a
Yeah.
plopper. There's no doubt about it. And so I know that and there's a lot of fishermen that have achieved success on the Whopper Plopper, even bass fishermen and derbs, 100%. There's been muskie caught out, every type of game fish. All right. My question to you is: besides yourself, besides yourself, in the bass fishing world, who do you associate the whopper plopper with as a bass fisherman?
Well, Chris Lane.
Chris Lane. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because Chris, the year that he won the deal, was just put on a plopper and threw it all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of all that, you asked me what bass guy I associate with the plopper, it would be Chris.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. And
I'll be totally honest with you. I hadn't gotten one yet. I wasn't sold on it. I saw Kevin Van Dam throwing it openly on live. And I'm like, he ain't getting paid for that. And he's throwing that thing I was sold immediately. And he was catching giant bass on the thing. But it was the same tournament Chris Lane was smoking them on.
Yeah. Oh, well, those guys know.
That thing. Yeah.
They know. And it was born right there. Right? Right, actually, just feet from Chris.
Like, right there. In fact,
I was looking to see if I could find.
Yeah, there's two of them right there. Yeah, that's one that came out of the. I'll stand up here, get real close.
And that's the
This
OG.
is one that we made here in the workshop. And if I spun this camera around, there's a stack of molds where there's a rubber tail.
One of the original Fat Boys right there.
Yeah, and there's an original little Fat Boy.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we first made the molds, and the first one I made didn't work real well. And then I made a second one, and it only takes a few minutes to make a prototype of certain types of things. The second one did just exactly what I wanted it to do. And I'd built it for a friend of mine, that a young guy named Josh Stevenson I used to fish muskies a lot with. And we brought it along in the opener. I said, "Here, Josh, I was telling you I'd make you one of these things, that prop bait that makes the right noise." And I think he caught 3 muskies on it that morning. And he caught like 30 fish in it in the next couple of weeks.
Made a believer out of him.
Wow.
And then we started showing people how to make them, and started catching big bass on the 190. The rest is sort of history, I guess.
That's kind of how we started hanging out.
Yeah.
Because we caught a 52-inch muskie on the 90, the little one.
Okay.
Wow.
And one of my clients did. And then we got to chatting about it, and then we started fishing together.
Man, and so many people. I mean, Ryan, you've seen people catch giant bass on that.
Smallmouths hate that thing. Well, yeah, the big one. Yeah.
The big one, yeah.
That big plopper. So, I mean, something about it. What's the inspiration for that, Larry? Like, what's the story of it? What's the evolution?
The first muskie I ever caught in my life was caught on a lure. It was made in Mosinee, Wisconsin, called a mud puppy. And it looks like it's the same rotational, unbalanced tail as a whopper plopper, but it's made out of metal. And the tail was just slightly bigger than my thumbnail. And I had learned that if I would bend it at a different angle than right out of the box, they just sort of made a fluff, fluff, fluff sound. But I learned that if I bent it at a couple of different angles, I could make it make kind of a hollow or pop sound.
Okay.
And the tails would break all the time. And so I also learned when I repaired them, if I pull more of that tin out and get a bigger surface, and then bend it at a double 90 and add some epoxy, make it heavier. And then I'd move the nose of the bait from here down lower, so it'd drive the tail in. That had made a better sound. I caught more fish with it. And I always had in my head, well, I could make this a lot better. I'll make the tail 4 or 5 times bigger. And so fast forward, 25 years, and I'm fishing with Josh Stevenson, and he likes that type of bait. And I said, I've got an idea of how to make a really good one of these. And it took me a couple of tries, and I got the prop right, and it did work quite well.
Yeah, I'd say, and as you put it, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Is the whopper plopper now that's available now to everyone just as good as the prototype that you just showed me? And I know that's
it's a little heavier.
The new one is, or the prototype that you showed, or the
production? The ones that are being manufactured are a little bit heavier.
Okay.
More tail down. But as far as catching fish, I think they're about equal. I've got some smaller ones I like that are kind of in between that I'd like to, like a 150 size.
Okay.
That I've done real well with.
It,
But no, the ones that are made by the factory are very, very, very accurate.
nice.
They had a lot of trouble trying to duplicate Wiggly. The frog, the diving frog, is unbelievably effective bait. Never quite got the legs right. They would screw up. But most of the baits I've designed, I've made purposely way different. Otherwise, there would be no need to make it. And what I've tried to do is make things that are a lot different.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of threw me for a minute. The reason you've made baits is because you want to make something that's a lot different. But variations of like familiar friends.
Well, the different, like if you take the diving frog, there's no bait that's even close to similar to that, other than a fly, a diver fly.
Yeah, but
There's never been a lure made with that type of a lip or a frog that you pull it underwater, it would actually do that, rise head up like a frog. If you look at a clacking crayfish, you pull it, the lip moves like a crayfish. It doesn't wiggle. It actually articulates. And that's what I'm talking about, is trying to create some sort of a fuselage that isn't just a copy of another fuselage that works differently. Or Mr. Wiggly, it doesn't have a paddle tail. The way it operates is just different.
Convince me to throw the diving frog.
Well, have you ever fished with a real frog?
I have. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I never caught nothing on them.
How did you rig it?
I believe that I did with braces rubber bands.
Okay, you did this when you were a little kid, probably?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, think about where it is you would fish a frog, or where frogs live.
Okay.
Okay. And mostly what bass fishermen think of as a frog is some sort of a surfboard that they're going to skip over the top of a bunch of floating vegetation. So they call it a frog, right?
Yeah.
Well, in real life, what frogs do is they live in the margins of the lake, the littoral area, right? And they have this thing where they estivate, and then they come out of the mud and they do their thing all summer, and so on and so on. You have to put it in front of where there is a bass to get one to eat it. Okay.
Yes.
That's true of anything.
Okay. Of course.
And if you take a live, if you know where there is a bass, go to Florida where you have springs, or go somewhere where you can actually see them. And take a live frog and throw it, and watch a bass, watch what it does, and watch the bass react to it. And what you'll see is that the frog will lay there motionless for a long time, just be there. And he's got two means of escape. One is going, he can just swim like a regular frog.
Okay.
He can try to hop, or he can go boom, 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 and actually dig down into the bottom. What I can do with a diver frog, I can throw it out and go boom, and make a bubble chain, I'm here. I can go stroke, and go swim, just like a frog, dive down about this far. And if I want, I can lower my tip and go, and I can actually make it go down in 3.5 feet of water and dig into the bottom and stop there and shake it. And I could give it another shake and let it go.
Yeah, totally
all the way to
replicating.
The surface. And then I can go boom, boom. So I can work it up and down the water column in a way that there's no other frog that does that other than a real frog.
Yeah, pretty.
Right.
And it's it just seems that a lot of people might take convincing to throw that. And I mean, no disrespect.
I don't care.
I know. I don't mean disrespect by it.
But what's wrong with that lure? The plastic legs, they were made out of a thermoplastic rubber. It wasn't the right formula, and they would like rot in the package, and it was just totally a mess. But the body and the concept is absolute dynamite. I caught so many big bass on that, it's ridiculous.
I mean, absolutely, and it makes perfect sense. And everything you just told me It makes perfect sense about why they should eat it. Here's my question. Is a lure like that as effective in dirty or stained water, or do you need a clear water situation?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So even though they're picking up on the vibes or whatever the obvious.
They're picking up and they'll come and they'll see it when they get close enough to it.
Okay.
And most of the time you're fishing in vegetation. And if you look real close, you go through a body of water where you got green vegetation, you've got way better water clarity than you do on Main Lake Rock, blah, blah, blah.
Of course.
Go to frog habitat, you'll find clean water on the inside margin of the leads, or cleaner water than you would have anywhere else in the lake where you got wind effect.
All right. Let's try the frog, Rye.
Yeah, let me ask you this too. This is something I've seen in the past. Some of the better frog bites I've gotten on have been in areas with pads and matted vegetation where you're not really seeing anything. You're not seeing frogs on the surface. Not even seeing bluegill as much.
No, you're not going to see frogs unless you get out of your boat.
Right. So, but then I've had situations where I've seen a lot of frogs and gotten no bites. Is that an indicator that there might not be any bass around if the frogs are feeling comfortable and kind of moving around?
That's a really good question. One of the things I used to do is take those little plastic straws, I use these. This is those things that balloons come, a million balloons.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Take a little plastic straw and you put it up a frog's butt. And use like that grass, you could pull apart grass, farmer grass you chew on.
Yeah.
Put that up their butt and you blow on it.
Just don't inhale.
They blow up as big as a ping pong ball, but they can't get underwater.
Okay.
And then you throw them out in the slop in the areas you're going to be fishing. You just throw a bunch of them out and they sit there and try to get under the surface. Then you find out if there's anybody home or not.
It's like the worm blower.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
You need a frog.
That's something you've actually done?
I've done that a lot.
I'm just going to hire a frog blower.
Well, you might be able to do that if you keep one in
if we ever get bass caddies.
Sometimes they'll swell up like that if you put them in your pocket.
Craigslist frog blower.
Yeah. Bass and caddy must be able to blow the frog's ass.
You could have different nozzle sizes. You could have a little attachment like a fly fisherman thing and a little that comes out like this. And you can take your frog, blow him up to like 7 PSI. What are they hitting on?
This just took a turn for the better. It's outstanding. Hey, you mentioned earlier that your dad wouldn't let you get a spinning reel until you bought one on your own.
A spin cast, push button, or the other kind either, because he had bad issues with monofilament back then. Monofilament was kind of unreliable.
Yeah.
So he wanted, revolving spool reels where you're using braided nylon line. It was just more reliable. You didn't lose as many lures.
I hear you. Now here's my question to you. I know that you've caught fish on every type of rod and reel that there is. Fly rod, the spinning rod, bait cast rod, of course. But do you consider yourself an accurate caster?
Yes.
With all three of those tools?
I think if you ask the people that I fish with, they would say that I'm a rather accurate caster.
With all the tools. Is he good, Chris? Is just as good with a fly rod as he is with a level line?
Absolutely.
Okay. Gotcha. So you could split Ganji the elephant babies.
Baby Ganji.
Baby Ganjis.
Yeah.
Ganji the elephant baby. So I think that's
I'll promise you.
I think that's a Howard Stern.
Demos, I could take a fly and throw it into a mailbox from 90 feet away.
Wow.
So if baby Ganji would have yawned, I could have pulled her tongue right out. I would have liked that, actually.
Take that, baby
probably
Ganji.
Shut off that little stream when she.
Probably
I didn't think of it. I wasn't really ready, and I didn't have a hook on my. We're back to baby Ganji again. I don't want to.
I love baby Ganji.
I know you do.
That's what I'm going to name my monkey, baby Ganji.
I think you should name your first child baby Ganji.
Oh, I got a child.
And I'm gonna be
You're
looking
have to adopt one or get another one.
I'm gonna be looking for the full size and the.
Or you can. There's a name change thing you can do, but your child might object. I don't know.
She would like baby Ganji. That's what I'm gonna call her.
The first name is Baby.
Come here, baby Ganji.
Hey, Tell me about Mr. Wiggly, man. I'm fascinated with Mr. Wiggly, as odd as that sounds. and like, what? Just a basic. There, look at you, Chris. Look at you.
We know.
Yeah. So apparently, it is the size of Mr. Wiggly that counts with what Chris just grabbed right there.
Mr. Wiggly.
That's a giant one.
Yeah, that's a large one.
Yeah.
Mr. Wiggly started out. The first one was this big. And
Mr. Wiggly envy.
It was named after a guy. Really
Andy,
funny.
you are missing your kid. Where's Andy?
Oh, man. I got a post from somebody that was, I don't know, it was just recent. I think I posted a picture of a catfish that a friend of mine, Alejandro Linares, had caught in Colombia. And at the time, it was a great big cat, like 120 pounds or better. And we set something as a world record at the time. And for sure it was. And somebody wrote in, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. My friend Russell Jensen has the world record at 109 pounds. And, you know, this might have been, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, Russell Jensen, I remember this guy. He was this little guy that we met at a lodge in the middle of nowhere in Brazil. And he was goofy. And he was trying to catch a big peacock bass. And I had developed this soft plastic minnow. And when it had this motion. And anyway, we were playing music that night. I was actually playing guitar, and there was a couple other local guys beating on stuff. And Russell started dancing, and he was a dancing machine. And so we named him Mr. Wiggly. And we named the lure after Russell, Mr. Wiggly. And he was born on this Peacock Bass River, and then I started fishing it at home for muskies, and it was just ridiculously effective. And then I made a bunch of bigger ones. So that's kind of where that came from. It's kind of funny.
Oh, Mr. Wiggly's like Mean Gene the dancing machine, apparently, isn't he?
Yes! Full circle again. Getting cosmic.
Dude, so Mr. Wiggly is primitive yet effective. Is that an accurate statement?
He's not really primitive, but it's deadly effective. It's a lure that can work at any speed.
It's insane.
If you have one that works right, Chris is.
It's insane.
Like, I think that Mr. Wiggly could be like the next thing, like in bass fishing. I mean, because it hasn't been presented to the bass fishermen. Because
you're right, it's a big fish bait. It's not a small fish bait. The way that the thing is set up, I'll be honest, and the manufacturers, I could tell them that they still aren't going to get it. All right,
it's never been produced.
The ones that we produced, River to Sea produced a bunch of them. A handful of them worked. Some of them didn't. They had the screw hole. That's where the injection point is in the wrong place, and it caused it to tilt up like a degree or two. And so what happens, you crank them in, they go around in circles. When they're designed properly, you've got to have the hook far enough forward to allow motion, the right kind of movement behind it. And the plastic has to be soft enough to move, but stiff enough to store energy, so that when you're moving it and it's bent, quick stop it. Whichever way it was bent, it goes, woo! It stores enough energy to move in that direction. So you can make it do all these crazy random things. Plus you can burn it on a straight line, and it's flopping around like a flag. And it's just crazy.
Has it been tested?
So that the hook is far enough back. So when a small bass comes up and balls it up, you might hook him. It doesn't operate properly. Largemouth, 6 pounders, they can, wiggly this big, no problem. Peacocks had no problems hooking them at all, but, we're catching fish in the.
It's the hookup ratio. It's the hookup ratio that's the problem with the bass.
Has it been tested on a big western
largemouth bass? When you're fishing for fish that weigh 4 pounds or 5 pounds, the wigglies that I'm using your hookup ratio won't be very good because the bait's so big. They open their mouth, they get it full of plastic.
Yeah. So why couldn't you make a correct size for bass fishing? Like
I could make a banjo minnow.
There you go. Okay, I guess you're right. Yeah, that's a 5-inch bait, right? A banjo minnow.
Yeah, you just go turn into a banjo minnow, and you have to create a banjo. Was too the first ones that the guy made, phenomenal. That guy was a genius, in fact, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've caught a lot of fish on the banjo.
It's a phenomenal bait if you know how to use that thing. And what happens is that as they turn into junk, But if you that concept with the screw eye, get it exactly in the right place, right on the nose, you've got some of the most cool random non-mechanical action that's ever been done in the history of the world.
Oh, when I got that kit in Florida, I caught some bigs on it. I promise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it gets to a certain size, and then you can't run the hook up that way. That's why I did the wiggly the way I do it. The hook slides free.
Yeah.
And in order to have it set up that way, it's got to be far enough forward, and it's fairly complex to get it to work the way it has to work.
So Ryan asked, and forgive me for going back on it here,
Yeah.
Ryan, if you mind if I ask for you,
No,
but
go
the
ahead.
California big bass fishermen, the big swim bait guys.
Yeah, they'll bite. It'll catch those fish.
Yeah, it doesn't. They haven't tapped into it, and I don't know why.
No, they haven't. Those guys are really whatever.
Are they all PWT?
No, but you reel like this fast because you got a bass that's got a big fat belly and his tail's all gone.
His tail's all
I don't-
gone.
Yeah. I mean, a trout version of that out west has got to.
I
crush
can
it.
tell you this: the last time I was fishing with Wiggly, we were fishing peacocks with a group. This is a group of guys. There was 18 guys, 18, and me, and they're all two guys in a boat. I'm alone, and I'm in a camera boat. So I've got a cameraman with me who's they're always slowing you down. And I made a deal the first day. You guys all go ahead of me, fish the lagoons ahead of me. I don't want to fish first anywhere. At the end of the week, I had over 20 fish in the high teens into the mid 20-pound range, fishing last and alone. And in the group of other 18 anglers, there was one fish caught, 13 pounds. And it was caught on a wiggly that I gave to one of the guys.
Wow. Go
And they were
figure.
fishing live bait. I mean, it's that effective. I'm fishing right behind them. The fish are watching their wood choppers and the other stuff go by, and they watch Wiggly go by and they eat it. It's unbelievable.
Get that thing out there, man.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a matter of figuring out the
baby
speed, too.
ganji.
Yeah,
That's the baby ganji. Change the name.
The baby ganji wiggly.
Yeah.
That's an idea. I don't know if those two mix.
Hey, let's
baby
talk.
ganji's negative vibration all the way.
Yeah. That's
Unless I could figure out an ivory, if I can make ivory eyeballs
Ooh.
for Wiggly.
Now we're talking.
There you go.
I
And a
would
trunk.
like that.
The exotic version of ivory. That's the high dollar one.
Yeah, from baby ganji, I had to cut his tusks off and make little I had to teach him to pee on the stage.
Lifelike trunk.
Authentic jade baby Jumanji.
When we go muskie fishing and he shows up with some new wigglies, and we're going through and you put one on and it swims perfect. It's like not if you're going to catch a muskie, it's just as soon as you put it in front of one, it's going to bite it.
Man.
Like it's just that bait is.
So Chris, he's got some sneak, don't he? Like he's got some stuff that
it's not available.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's one thing there. He said not the correct version isn't, but you got other sneaky stuff, Dahlberg. I know he does, right, Chris? He's got all kinds of sneak, don't he?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like does he turn you on to it, or does he make you is he like? Yes.
I'm not at liberty to say.
Someday, Chris.
I tell you, but you can't tell him what I tell you.
What stays in the Dahlberg shop, or what happens in the Dahlberg shop stays in the Dahlberg.
It's proprietary stuff, man.
Yeah, I think me and King Willen and Josh boated, just fishing locally here. We boated 89 of them this year.
And that's just when we went,
Just fishing. He's guiding full time.
guiding
He's
full-time.
working all the time.
Wow.
And I bet we were averaging pretty close to 3 a day.
And this is on a sneaky bait?
Yeah,
Everything.
Everything's pretty sneaky. Fishing for this local water with all sorts of other
But
people.
it's a sneaky bait that's producing results. So tell me a little bit about the sneaky bait, but don't tell me what the bait is.
Sneaky bait that we can't tell you. I mean, honestly, the sneakiest thing that we use is definitely the homemade wigglies. I mean, it's when I'll bring a buddy or whatever when we go out, and it takes 3 or 4 casts with one of us throwing a wiggly before they want one.
Hey, you ever run through Minneapolis and they're like, Hey, Larry, you got any more of that wiggly, man?
Yeah, I stay out of Minneapolis.
I need some of them wiggly.
Yeah.
People hit him up for him all the time. That's no joke.
I bet.
What's the most you ever got for a wiggly?
I never sold one.
Really? No black market wiggly?
I'm not some sort of a, what would you call that? A fish-to-toot?
We just call it a whore, for crying out loud. Hey, let's talk bass baits. You when you go bassing and you're throwing a crankbait, okay, Larry? Tell me to you, what is wrong with the crankbait? What is wrong with the crankbait?
That's the most ridiculous question I've ever been asked.
Good. What is
No,
wrong?
you should say, when you're bass fishing, when do you or where do you throw a crankbait?
Well, no, I know that. I know the answer.
You don't know where I throw it.
Well, okay, then go ahead, Larry.
No.
Well, where do you throw it, Larry? Hey, Mom, Larry's not being
I'm being
cool.
arbitrary.
Larry's
Okay, your question though, you asked a legitimate question, I think, about a crankbait.
Yeah.
You say what's wrong with it?
Yeah, like I don't think that you seem like a crankbait kind of guy.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I don't.
I grew up, I cut my teeth on hellbenders. You know what a hellbender is?
Yeah, absolutely, I know what a hellbender is and a mud bug and all that good stuff. Yeah.
All right.
You're
Whopper Plopper, Sherman, Texas.
Okay.
And a mud bug didn't dive to but 6 or 7 feet.
Yeah.
And you maybe remember it was called a water dog. It was made by Bomber.
Yeah, of course I remember it. The
It
elongated
had a
one.
tail spinner like a hellbender, but it had a rounded lip instead of reverse heart-shaped lip. Well, a hellbender, if you got it set up right, you could throw that thing a mile because of that lip was straight, and you could throw it a mile. Get your tip down and start grinding, and I could hit 12 feet with that bait with a 10, 12-pound test monofilament. And I scraped the bottom off of every lake in Burnett County. And it's got to do lots of, I fish cranks really, 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 really a lot.
You see how I worked them up?
Yeah, I've caught big giant. I used to troll them all. I was a Buck Perry fan.
The old spoon,
Buck Perry?
Of course, the old spoon plugger. Heck
yeah. Yeah, I used to talk to him on the telephone for hours.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. Great guy.
I mean, what an innovator, man. As far as that whole long lining kind of deal, you know what?
He invented modern angling.
Yeah, man. Wow. Okay.
Buck Perry invented modern angling.
Offshore
Knowing the term structure had never been used. Cover had never been used. Break line never been used. That's all Chuck. That's all Buck Perry stuff.
Thermocline, all that stuff. Wow. Huh. Unreal. See, hey, Chris.
If you haven't read it, spoon plugging.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yes. I think it's called 101 or something.
Yeah, you got to reread all of that stuff.
I just started rereading Roland Martin's 101 Bass Catching.
Ah, yeah. That's there's not much in that, really. I'm sorry, Roland. And that's a whole bunch of little tiny tactical things.
Yeah. I know.
What Buck Perry is talking about is the big strategic picture, and then also talking about controls and triggers in terms of fish behavior and bass migration, so on and so on. The only thing he got wrong, he didn't understand the way the water column, the way fish moved this way instead of up and down. He thought they came out of super deep water and they had to move up and adjust. But other than that, he was so far ahead of his time, it's beyond belief.
Unreal. How many volumes were there of that spoon plugging thing? Wasn't it volumes?
I thought it was just the one book.
It was just the one book, was it?
Well, he had a class that he did, kind of a thing, but it was a series of booklets, but he had the one book, spoon plugging, it was called.
Okay, and because I do remember seeing book like you said.
Yeah, and then he had a rod that he sold and line called No Bow line. It was the same formulation as toothbrush bristle.
Really?
And then he had, it didn't stretch, and it was metered.
Wow.
And then he was using a Penn 109 reel, 3-to-1 ratio.
Wow.
And also did a lot of fishing with wire line, which I did a lot also, trolling with wire, because you can run 20 feet bumping the bottom with your bait right underneath your boat. So if you're running a tiller boat, so you can run real tight corners, you can run break lines like unbelievably tight with wire line. you could get hellbenders to run down 25 feet with wire.
Unreal. So,
yeah,
I mean,
and the bottom contact is just huge, you know, where you got a lot of reservoir stuff. It's not as much if you got clean points, but you know, around here in our natural lakes, fish and bass, bottom contact, when you're looking to find a school of 6-pound fish, big fish, you're more likely to catch them on a crankbait than you are, I think, almost anything.
Awesome. I'm glad I cleared that up, because I didn't think you were a cranker. I didn't think you were I thought you were more like of a topwater plug-in type of guy than a.
What's that? I
said I didn't see you as a plugger, as a cranker, 100%.
Oh man, I see you're pigeonholing me.
I profiled you.
If you can find a lure,
profiled you.
I grew up, I had a little bag. I got a fly rod in it. I got a muskie rod in it. I got a spinning rod in it. And I would devote a different summer to a specific live bait, maybe, or a specific species or a thing. But I got to fish every day all summer, you know, from the time I was a little kid till I got big and old. So I had a lot of time in my hands. And so I turned over every freaking rock.
You see how I got him, Chris? I worked him up there on that.
Yeah, you got me worked up.
I got you worked up there a little bit.
Now what I do, I catch on whatever they want to bite. Whatever I want to catch them on.
You said it before. You don't discriminate. You do not.
No, I don't discriminate at all.
I would say you put a musky crankbait on pretty regularly when we go fishing if we're not catching or something's different, the Bagley comes out and
really
bottom.
What, the Bango B? You're throwing the Bango at him?
Yeah, the old 6 Bagley. You can't get them anymore. They changed the lip angle.
Which one are you throwing?
The DB6, DB06.
Yeah, the DB06. Yeah, I know that bait well. Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the cherished ones, huh, for the skis?
I use it in certain places when because it'll run at a place that most of the other musky baits don't go.
Interesting. Yeah, that was a that was a Lee Sisson, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, Lee was a good friend of mine.
Yeah, that was one of Lee's
You're totally right. Lee did that whole series.
Yeah, I used to work for Bagley as a kid. Long story short.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you another time about it.
Yeah, he had the B flat, the big B flat.
Oh yeah,
caught a few fish on it.
Yeah,
the little B flat, I didn't catch anything on.
The big old small fry shad that you didn't catch nothing on.
Oh, those are good baits. I still got a whole ring of those.
You got those?
Yeah, the whole ring of the whole series.
The salesman ring. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it? You got it right here.
You probably got.
I've got the wall of shame over here.
Somewhere in the archive.
Oh, yeah, this place is a mess. Some people think it's.
You know where everything is, Larry.
I know about where everything is, and it's archaeologically organized.
I know exactly that ring
because there's a layer. There's like the cedar layer, and then there's a layer where I was using a lot of rock maple, and then I got into flat salt, and then there's a lot of various types of chemistry that I'm playing with.
Paleozoic era Dahlberg stuff. We got all that in there.
Here it is.
Here it is. Chris found it over there.
Chris knew where it was. He's like, he knew where the small fries were. You got to
Yeah. Oh, that's a little ring. That's a cute one.
That's all the DBs.
Yeah, this is a little DB ring.
Wait a minute. What do you got? Let me see.
Okay, I've got a BB1. I've got a BB3.
Oh my gosh.
And I've got a broken bill. Here is a DB2, broken bill, and a BB2. But no, I've got a big ring with all the small fries.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
One. Did you ever see the shmoo?
The Bagley shmoo. Yeah, it was like there was an ugly little sperm-looking lure.
It was one of the worst baits he ever made.
Yeah.
You couldn't get it to run straight.
Yeah.
Did it go like this? It's over on the right-hand side.
The old
if you know the
shmoo.
Bagley shmoo, then you're way ahead.
Yeah. I remember the shmoo. It was like a little...
But I think I have a couple prototypes I could dig out that are about this long that look like a walleye that are made by Lee Sisson.
Okay.
And they've got a lip at about almost a 90. They run really super shallow. Gorgeous.
Unreal. And I don't want to get too technical on it, but man, people do not understand the whole lip angle thing in plugs.
Oh man, that's lip angle and where the nose is in relation to the lip. That's what makes it operate.
It's so important, and you could get back in the day of wood plugs, Bagleys. I mean, just a little bit off. You could have two Bagleys, and just that angle would be slightly different. And the one was a gem. The one was just something that you cherished, man. Yeah, absolutely cherished. Hey, I got to talk to you, but before we start wrapping things up, man. But a lot of people don't realize how in tune with the tools of the game you actually are. And one of those tools...
In tune with what?
The tools. In tune with the tools of the game.
Ah.
And one of the tools that you are immensely in tune with is the fishing rods. Now, I remember going... Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of go out of the noodle with this a little bit, but... Like, did you have like a custom series of blanks that you offered with Cabela's at one time?
With a Bass Pro.
Bass Pro. And you had it was a production rod. And and I was in Florida at the time that rod was out. And that was before there were mat flipping rods for pulling them out from under the water hyacinth on Okeechobee or in the, in the hydrilla. And that rod of yours, Larry, was the flipping stick. It was like incredibly lightweight for as stout as it was, yet the bend was perfect. And
that's still one of my favorite rods of all time.
Man, I mean that rod right there. Were you able? What did you base that on? I'm a custom.
I designed
rod
that when I worked with Sage.
Okay.
I used to work with the Sage Rod Company.
Yes, I know Sage. Yes,
and I designed that rod exactly with Sage. They weren't in the bass category; they just had fly stuff, and sold a lot of them. And that's where the modern muskie rod, all those designs kind of came from that series of mandrels. And then I was approached by Bass Pro, and we just took the Sage never built it as a finished rod, only as a blank. And we took those and copied them with All-Star, and then had Loomis building them. And we just took those designs and did those. But those are the highest, what I call the highest stiffness to weight ratio without sacrificing strength of any of that category. I still use them. I've still got a number of them that I had built by different companies, actually. And I use them really a lot.
On that original Sage blank?
I use them for tarpon. I use them for bass. I use them for muskies. I use them for peacock bass. I use them for so much stuff.
I caught my biggest landlocked tarpon ever on that rod in a Calcutta 400, I think it was. Or no, it was a Calcutta 250. It was the first gold.
Oh, fun.
The first gold one, and it was in a golf course pond.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Oh my gosh. And I just remember that like it was, man, that was just a giant tarpon. Come out of a culvert and ate a tilapia. It was
I love it.
It was amazing.
I love it.
But the whole thing then you went to Mudhole for a while and were able to.
Yeah, they've got one. It's not a flipping stick, but it's a two-piecer that's the same exact variation of that. That's still in their catalog.
Okay.
That's a great blank.
Well, what is that so if a person wanted to purchase that blank?
God, I don't even know where they've got it categorized, but if you called them and asked them, they'd know. They're really good people. The Mudhole people are really cool.
So tell them we want to know what the Dahlberg blank is.
Yeah, there's a medium heavy or a medium whatever, and then a heavier version of it, but the lighter one is what you'd want for bass. It's a dynamite flipping stick.
The one that I had was a telescopic, I believe.
Yeah, right. Okay. They're built like a flipping stick.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but these the Mudhole ones are two-piece ferruled about a third of the way into the butt.
Yeah. That's the big. When I go traveling to exotic places, I'm going to have rods like that built, Larry.
You know, it's really hard to find a good travel rod. It's really funny. Here's a travel rod, 3-piece, and what is it? It's a freaking walleye rod. Right? Look at all the travel rods.
I know. No, I hear you.
It's ridiculous. Or what do you travel for that I'd use this? You know,
to catch bait. You catch your bait in the
that's true. That's what I bring them for.
It's a sabiki rig, Rod.
So
Throw the damn sabiki rig on there.
yes, you're totally right.
That's all that shit is.
But nobody makes a good travel rod other than that. I did some for TFO, and they had them, and I don't know. We just didn't connect very well.
Temple Fork. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the last time I saw you in Chicago. You were hanging out with Temple Fork.
Yeah.
You were banging darts with Seth Fighter outside the Coliseum.
Is that what we were doing?
Yeah, you're smoking some heaters out there. I think.
Llama.
Yeah.
Llama.
That's what you were up to. Hey, speaking of banging some darts and smoking some heaters, you've been known to throw down some blues, haven't you, Mr. Dahlberg?
Well, I used to play guitar a long time ago.
Yeah, back when you were.
But I don't play much anymore.
When you were a kid.
But I do have a guitar and an amp.
Chris, is he any
there.
good? Is he any good?
You might have to find out.
Okay.
He's sleeping by my dog. My dog's asleep by the thing. I'm looking at it right now.
Why don't you get your guitar? Let's play a little blues.
What I'm going to do is turn this thing around. Oh man, I'm getting tired.
Well, Larry, we're going to play some blues, and we're going
are?
to
Okay, here's what we're going to do.
We're going to close the show with a little bit of slow blues. How's that? And I would love to play some harmonica with you, Larry. He's getting, I guess oh, look at this. That is very Scorsese-esque film work that I am seeing here. As Larry Dahlberg in this, look at this.
We got to get Moj too. Hang on.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the musical stylings.
Hang on 1 sec.
Lawrence Dahlberg. Oh, yes. I love this. I get.
You guys good?
Yeah, let me give me a little sound check. Let me hear you again.
What key are we going to be playing?
Can you play in A and just give me a little 12-bar strum? In A.
I got to get you a little louder here.
How's that, Larry? Take it, maestro.
Sounded good.
It sounded really all right, Larry.
It was actually good. Yeah.
You are amazing. You're like an old howling wolf.
Some good reverb.
You're like an old howling wolf fish.
Howling wolf thing? Have you got an actual howling wolf thing?
Yeah, I'll give you a little. Well, you're howling down your door, babe. Like a howling snap downstairs, down no more. I've been howling around your door, babe. Been howling around your door. Larry Dahlberg. I'm getting a delay now from Larry. It's classy. It's classy, Ryan. Where else on a bass fishing talk show can you get a little Larry Dahlberg?
It's getting muddy around here.
It is.
Yeah.
You see that? You got tasty. You got tasty, Larry. I'm yelling at him. Larry, that was awesome. You want to get a band together?
Yeah.
Let's start a band.
Yeah. You got to think of a name of it.
Yeah, I think we call it Baby Ganji. Yeah.
Baby Ganji's oatmeal.
The Baby Ganji's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Baby Ganji and the piss.
Yeah. Baby Ganji and the Golden Showers.
Yeah.
I think that's our band. Yeah. Larry, can I go fishing with you?
Yeah, you probably can.
I like that answer. I know you don't take a lot of guys fishing, so I'll be there tomorrow, and then we can. I'll just stay by your house until it thaws out, and then we'll go. I like biscuits a lot.
Biscuits?
Yeah, if
and oatmeal.
And oatmeal. Yeah, I want to try the Dahlberg oatmeal.
Yeah, you can have one of Mojo's biscuits, and you can have some of my oatmeal.
And I'll even walk Baby Ganji for you every day.
You want to see Mojo? There's little Mojo. Can you see the dog?
Where's Mojo Rising? Where is he?
She's blown out a bit. She's a white dog.
Oh, I see now. Okay, yeah. Oh, she's all sweepy booge, even through all that.
That dog's seen more muskies than a lot of muskie anglers, I'll tell you that.
I'll bet that dog got Mr. Wiggly's.
She loves Mr. Wiggly.
Watching Mr. Wiggly all the time. Unreal. Hey, Larry, I got to tell you again, man, before we get out of here, thank you so much for the happiness that you bring us, man, and that you brought us for so many years.
Yes, sir.
The pleasure's mine, and I'm just flattered that you sit there and watch it.
Absolutely. I mean, I know exactly how you feel by that statement, and thank you for doing it. Thank you for brightening up our Saturdays and our Sundays, and sometimes Wednesday repeats, and sometimes Thursday repeats, and maybe Tuesday repeats, and maybe 3 a.m. on one channel, but whatever. Thanks for being there and taking us on adventures with you, hunting for big fish, and just being a cool dude, man. You know?
You're more than welcome. It's my pleasure, and we'll get together again one of these days, huh?
Absolutely. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Give me
right.
some. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you,
it's Larry Dahlberg. Give it up for Larry. And Chris. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, thanks for letting me hang out, guys.
Thanks for coming around, man. I had a good time. I'll see you tomorrow, too, Chris, when I come out there. We're going to go to... Larry's got this spot he's going to take me to. It's behind some place. It's like behind some amusement park or something. And it's a river with nothing but big bass in it. Big old greenheads. Big old bucket mouse, and they're crystal clear water in a stream, and Larry's going to take me and get me like a 20-pound bag out of there. Yes, sir. And that's been the Larry Dahlberg episode. Wow. Straight cast. Larry Dahlberg, yes! Thank you, Larry. I needed that. As a bass Nazi, I needed that.
That was fantastic.
Thank you so much. Larry Dahlberg. Check out Larry Dahlberg on Instagram, on Facebook, and huntforbigfish.com. That's Larry Dahlberg, and those DVDs are still available. Buy Whopper Ploppers and whatever other bait that Larry makes. Buy it. So all kinds of good
Baby
stuff.
Ganji coming soon.
Baby Ganji coming soon to a theater near you.
Yes.
Once COVID leaves.
And the full-size Ganji.
There's theaters again. Yeah. But you can rent Baby Ganji on Comcast for $19.99. Mm-hmm. And they used to have movies for $5.99.
Yeah.
But now they're $19.99 because of COVID. And that's bullshit.
I know.
So
gouging.
Yeah, they're gouging Ganji.
I saw that one.
Yeah, man. You got the Ganji, man. Hey, do they have Baby Ganjis in New Jersey?
They have Baby Jake Hazes.
Baby Jake Hazes. Baby Jumpin' Jake Hazes. And tonight, the like and share feed was sponsored by Power Pole. Total boat control. If you've not tried the Power Pole Charge, may I recommend so? May I also recommend that that you put those power poles down, especially during the bedding season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because what we do around here in bedding season, we power down for pleasure. We pull down for pleasure. That's what we do. Today's contest, like and share, sponsored by Power Pole. And Jake Haas from New Jersey. I'm from Jersey. You from Jersey? What's up, Jake? How you doing, Bubs? Good to see you,
guys.
Good to see you. I like your Onum hat.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Need the MILF Life one.
We got a $50. I have an exclusive on the MILF Life.
I'll trade you.
Ryan will trade you.
I forgot I can't wear that in public. Really, kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I get weird looks. They think I'm a porn star.
Right, and then you got to be like, no, it's fishing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'll tell you a story sometime.
All right.
But anyway, Jake, it was the Power Pole Fun Pouch today. Giveaway prize. Like and share. All they had to do is like and share this live Facebook feed with Larry Dahlberg.
That's it.
And you win. So who won our prize tonight? Who won?
Ooh. That wasn't.
And the winner is Frank Palafrone.
Frank Game of Thrones.
Frank call a phone.
Frank phone a friend.
Say that last name again, Jake.
Frank Provolone.
Colazones?
Oh, Provolone. Calzone.
Palafrone.
What's it?
Telephone?
What's he saying, Jake? Well, look at Jake's face. He's like, wookie cuckoo cow. What? What? Jake? What? Who was the guy? Frank what?
Frank Palafrone.
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 Is he Italian?
He could be.
Palafrone. So Frank Palafrone.
You sound like George Costanza trying to make up his favorite author.
I think
Fladlam?
Flappers?
Fladlam? Fladlam? I like Frank Fladlam.
So, who's your favorite baseball player? Circle. Swords?
Corgan?
Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan. So Frank Provolone, somebody you won a power pole thing. It's ridiculous.
Hopefully he recognizes
How does he
his own
spell the name, Jake?
I got Polli, and then Frone.
And then phone?
Yeah.
Polyphone.
Yeah, phone.
Yeah,
polyphone.
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 So Phone.
That's French.
Yeah.
Polyphone.
Polyphone. Je te laisse, fréquentant. You've won the prize, Frank. That's right. Season 6 of Stray Cast, where the miracles happen and we give away shit every Wednesday night. Tonight's prize was courtesy of Power Pole. Total Bull Control. Frank Califrone. Polyphone.
Polyphone?
Palafino. Any Palafono is a Palafino.
Message Stray Cast on Facebook.
Yes.
Attention
Jake Haas. And let him know. Let him know. Let him know that you won stuff.
You won a Power Pole Fun Patch.
Yeah.
Fun Patch? Fun Pouch.
Pouch. It's like a fun pouch.
Might be a patch in there.
It's in between it's been between a sack and a pouch.
Satchel.
It's a satchel pouch. Satchel pouch.
That was a great picture.
But thank you so much to everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you, Crestliner. Of course, thank you, Power Pole, Abu Garcia, Omnia Fishing, Sims. I love the Sims gear. Never thought I could love clothing as much as I love Sims. Line and Lure Conditioner, BTS, War Eagle, yeah, Outcast Tackle, Slicks 20 over at Omnia. Slicks, LIS, LSCISO,
20.
CIC, CISO, CIC,
Yeah, Slicks 20.
SLIX 20 gets you 20% off rod slicks at Omnia. TH Marine, if you don't have that G-Force stuff on your trolling motor, you're not cool. Not cool. Alpha Angler rods, get them. Bravarni swim jigs, boom. Tin Cup whiskey, hell yeah. Amphibia, that's what I'm talking about. Throw me some shade. Hey, I'm Pat Redwick, and I'm the host of this madness. Ryan Popcorn Whitaker's here, too.
Yep.
Andrew Ellenberger, he's the Ginger Ninja. Larry is going to put this up on iTunes tonight. Jake Haas, he's the intern in Jersey. Larry Dahlberg, thank you. Thank you so much. See you next week with David Fritz. Crankbait Show. Yeah!